Chapter 12:57. Qin Feng, you haven't eaten, right? I brought you dinner. Hurry up and eat. Yin Wushuang rarely showed her caring side. If the members of the dragon sect saw this scene, they would be blinded by it. Before Qin Feng could get up, Lu Bingbing glared at Yin Wushuang and said, "Look at the time. Go to bed. I'm enough to take care of Qin Feng. I don't need you." Then Lu Bingbing hugged Qin Feng's arm and said softly, "Honey, I prepared dinner for you. Let me feed you." Lu Bingbing was a cold and arrogant woman. She treated men coldly, but now she acted like a little girl in front of Qin Feng. Yin Wushuang was not a belligerent person, but she was provoked by Lu Bingbing. She pulled Qin Feng's arm and said, "Why should I rest? You're done bathing. Why don't you go to bed? What's wrong with bathing? I'm not tired. Who are you to stop me?" "Uft. Who wants to stop you? Don't flatter yourself. It's fun to be a third wheel, isn't it?" Yin Wushuang did not back down. The two women were at each other's throats. Qin Feng, who was sitting in the middle of the barrage, was nervous. Seeing that the two women were about to start a fight, Qin Feng hurried to the bathroom and said, "Ahem, I've eaten at Senior Dragon God's place. Go to bed. I still have some business to attend to after bathing." As soon as Qin Feng finished his sentence, he was already in the bathroom. He had not seen Lu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang for a while. He wanted to have sex with them, but the current situation made him give up the idea. He would die no matter who he slept with. Only Yin Wushuang and Lu Bingbing were left in the empty living room. They stared at each other from a meter away. Their faces were filled with coldness. Before Qin Feng came back, the two women were enemies. They both worked in the dragon sect and were in the top management of the heavenly group. They often quarreled over trivial matters, which scared the members of the dragon sect. Qin Feng rarely comes back. Are you satisfied now? Lu Bingbing glared at Yin Wushuang. Yin Wushuang was unhappy. What do you mean satisfied? You're making it seem like I've done something wrong, and you're the one who's looking for trouble. You should reflect on yourself. Lu Bingbing's beautiful eyes widened. Me reflect? Are you kidding me? Don't forget that I'm with Qin Feng first. Even if he accepts you, you'll be behind him. You'll be more like my servant. How could a proud woman like Yin Wushuang become someone else's servant, or the servant of his rival in love? Don't be delusional. Every time Qin Feng and I go on a mission together, we go through life and death situations together. Our feelings are incomparable. You only have a slightly better appearance and figure. Qin Feng is only attracted to your beauty. Who knows? He might dump you one day. The two women quarreled until the sky darkened. Lu Bingbing was immediately displeased. She suddenly stood up and walked towards the bathroom. Yin Wushuang was stunned. She didn't know what Lu Bingbing was thinking. "Hey, where are you going?" Lu Bingbing didn't stop. When she reached the bathroom door, she said coldly, "You said Qin Feng only liked my body and beauty. Huh, then I'll show you how charming I am." After Lu Bingbing finished speaking, she pushed open the bathroom door and walked in. Yin Wushuang was stunned on the sofa. Qin Feng was taking a shower. He was startled by Lu Bingbing's sudden appearance. "Bingbing, why did you come in?" Lu Bingbing was exasperated by Yin Wushuang. She was actually a conservative woman. Qin Feng had talked to her for a long time before he finally broke through his physical barrier. Standing at the bathroom door, Lu Bingbing's heart was about to jump out of her throat. Qin Feng stood naked in front of her. His muscles were strong, and his body was tall and straight. He was even more perfect than a fitness instructor. Lu Bingbing felt a burning desire in her heart. "I'll take a shower together." Lu Bingbing gritted her teeth. She tore off her bathrobe and dived into the water to hug Qin Feng. Her sudden action shocked Qin Feng. He was a little regretful that he couldn't be intimate with Lu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang. He didn't expect that Lu Bingbing would take the initiative to come to him. The hot water splashed on the two of them. Qin Feng was obsessed with Lu Bingbing's body, so he couldn't resist at all. He hugged her and groped her. Yin Wushuang, who was sitting on the sofa, jumped up abruptly. She finally realized what Lu Bingbing had got to do. The bathroom of the suite was surrounded by woolen glass. She could vaguely see the shadows inside. The glass was not soundproof. Lu Bingbing seemed to be purposely shouting loudly. Yin Wushuang was so angry that she stomped her feet. Qin Feng, do you love me? The voice suddenly changed. It was Lu Bingbing's loud question. Yin Wushuang couldn't help but walk under the frosted glass of the bathroom. She saw Lu Bingbing's hands on the glass wall. Qin Feng was hugging her from behind. Of course I love you, Qin Feng replied. Lu Bingbing could see someone standing outside through the glass. It was obviously Yin Wushuang. She raised her voice again and said, Do you love me the most? Of course. Qin Feng didn't think too much. He said whatever Lu Bingbing wanted to hear. Yin Wushuang was so angry that she almost broke the glass wall with her foot. Lu Bingbing was in a good mood. Yin Wushuang couldn't bear it anymore. She covered her ears and ran back to her room. The battle lasted for an hour. She felt like she was about to collapse. Qin Feng carried her to the sofa and laid her down. Qin Feng saw that it was almost time. He wanted to go back to his room and rest for a while. After that, he would meet the 6 ninjas of Japan. When he entered the room, he saw Yin Wushuang rushing up to him angrily. You're disgusting. Yin Wushuang looked like a punching bag. Qin Feng was confused. What's wrong, Wushuang? Did I offend you? Yin Wushuang sat on the edge of the bed and threw her slippers at Qin Feng. Don't stand in front of me. I'm annoyed when I see you. Qin Feng walked to the bedside and sat down. He put his arm around Yin Wushuang's shoulder and said, You're annoyed when you see me? What nonsense are you talking about? Yin Wushuang pushed Qin Feng's hand away and kicked him. You're having fun with Lu Bingbing. Why are you looking for me? Qin Feng understood immediately. He was so engrossed in the battle that he forgot Yin Wushuang was still in the room. Wushuang, are you jealous of Lu Bingbing? Qin Feng looked at Yin Wushuang with a smile. Yin Wushuang's words hit the nail on the head. She was too embarrassed to admit it. She glared at Qin Feng and yelled, Don't talk nonsense. I'm too lazy to be jealous of that woman. What's so great about her? Qin Feng was amused by Yin Wushuang's jealousy. He hugged her and laid her down on the bed. Don't be angry. I'm going to challenge the 6 ninjas of Japan with Senior Dragon God later. I'll take a rest first. Yin Wushuang looked at Qin Feng lying on the bed with his eyes closed. She felt even more grieved. Suddenly, she turned over and sat on Qin Feng. That woman is trying to piss me off. I'll let her have a taste of being pissed off. Qin Feng looked at Yin Wushuang in surprise. This woman was too fierce when she was mad. She tore his black leather coat into pieces. Soon, the two of them started fighting. Yin Wushuang was actually a very conservative woman. She had only had sex with Qin Feng once before. She was too shy to make a sound. Tonight, however, she was like a different person. Qin Feng was so scared that he almost rolled off the bed. Lu Bingbing was resting on the sofa. Suddenly, she heard a strange noise coming from the master bedroom. Her expression changed drastically. She rushed into the master bedroom angrily. Lu Bingbing was stunned by what she saw when she entered the room. Yin Wushuang is too shameless. How could she do that? Qin Feng, you stop right now. Lu Bingbing yelled after she regained her senses. Qin Feng was startled. Yin Wushuang looked smug. She hugged Qin Feng tightly and refused to let him go. She stood at the door for a while. Then, she couldn't take it anymore and ran out of the room. The fight went on for another hour. When Qin Feng walked out of the room, the divine dragon came to find him. Yin Wushuang didn't come out. She was tired and resting on the bed. Lu Bingbing glared at Qin Feng angrily. However, she didn't lose her temper because the divine dragon was here. Qin Feng, what are you doing? Didn't we agree to challenge the 6 ninjas of Japan tonight? You're not going. The divine dragon felt something was wrong after he entered the room. Qin Feng smiled and said, of course I'm going. Let me handle something first. After he stopped the divine dragon, Qin Feng ran to Lu Bingbing and whispered in her ear, Bingbing, why don't you rest in the divine dragon's room tonight? Lu Bingbing jumped up and said coldly, Why? I'm going to sleep here. Ahem. I'm going to the island to handle some business. You stay in the same room with Yin Wushuang. Don't fight. Qin Feng looked worried. Lu Bingbing's expression became even colder. The temperature in the room dropped to 0. Don't mention that woman's name. Qin Feng, why did you ask me to leave? Why didn't you ask Yin Wushuang to leave? Qin Feng knew the conflict was escalating, so he decided to bring Lu Bingbing with him. He was worried about leaving the 2 women in the room because the room might be destroyed when they returned. Moreover, Lu Bingbing was only a stage 6 inner chi cultivator. She was no match for Yin Wushuang, who was a stage 9 inner chi cultivator. It would be troublesome if Yin Wushuang killed Lu Bingbing. After much persuasion, Lu Bingbing gradually calmed down. In fact, she really wanted to go to the island with Qin Feng. She heard that Japan had sent the 6 most powerful ninjas. Lu Bingbing was worried that Qin Feng would go alone. Qin Feng didn't ask Yin Wushuang. After he and Lu Bingbing put on their clothes, they set off together with the Divine Dragon. The hotel was only 2 kilometers away from the shore of the island. Qin Feng and Lu Bingbing were shocked when they arrived at the shore. The entire coastline was guarded by the military. There were dozens of warships and countless battleships docked on the sea. On the opposite side of the island, there were many lighthouses illuminating the night sky. There were dozens of patrol ships sailing on the sea. P.S. Hedonist Sovereign has almost 4 million words and is nearing the end. It's the last time it hits the monthly rankings. I hope everyone can vote for Master Du. Thank you very much. Chapter 1258. On the map, the island belonged to China. Unexpectedly, the Japanese turned the tables on them and insisted that the island belonged to them. A few days ago, they had sent a large number of armed forces and Japanese ninjas. Now, their forces had landed on the island and occupied it, preventing the Chinese army and martial artists from approaching. The island was located at the hub of sea transportation. The island was rich in minerals and many non-renewable resources. The island was vast, and its value was immeasurable. It was no wonder that the Japanese government wanted to take the island at all costs. It was late at night. The Japanese had set up many tents on the island. In the innermost military tent, a group of Japanese officials and people dressed as ninjas were gathered. Lord Miyagawa, we've received the latest news from the intelligence department. China has secretly sent a master. A soldier suddenly walked into the tent and reported to the man sitting at the head of the round table respectfully. The man was dressed in a well-ironed military uniform. His eyes were cold as he glanced at the people around him. What do you think? The 2 rows of people sitting next to the man were all dressed in black ninja uniforms. The youngest man among them stood up. Lord Miyagawa, what kind of master can China have? Even the strongest person in the mortal world, Dragon God, was suppressed by me. With us, the 6 great ninjas, this island will definitely belong to our empire. The young man was One Autumn Wind, one of the 6 great ninjas of Japan. He had fought with Dragon God on the sea yesterday and ended in a draw. Another man in his early 50s chimed in. Autumn Wind is right. China's martial arts are in a serious decline now. They are no match for our empire. China doesn't have to worry about the power of the sea. We will kill as many as they come. The man was arrogant. He was also one of the 6 great ninjas, Black Eye. Miyagawa, who was sitting on the highest seat, had a relaxed expression on his face. He was the commander-in-chief of this island battle. Miyagawa felt much more at ease when he saw the 6 shinobi and several Japanese shinobi present. The Battle of Japan must end as soon as possible. The longer it drags on, the more disadvantageous it will be for our empire. What's your plan? Lord Miyagawa glanced at the ninjas. A sexy female ninja stood up. She was the only female among the 6 great ninjas, Yimehui. Master Miyagawa, the Dragon God is said to be at the pinnacle of Hua Xia's martial arts. The Hua Xia government has pinned all their hopes on that person. Why don't we kill the Dragon God and see if Hua Xia still has the guts to fight with us for the island? Yimehui's suggestion was approved by everyone, and they all nodded in agreement. Taranokin, the oldest of the 6 great ninjas, slammed the table and stood up. According to what Xiufeng said, that divine dragon's battle prowess is comparable to the 3rd level of true chi. I am willing to personally go out and kill it. Takano Koen was the most powerful one among the 6 great shinobi. When he said that he would personally go, the rest of them were full of confidence. Very well, with Tono Koen taking action, I could be completely at ease. Miyagawa smiled. I think we should take action tonight, lest any undue delay brings trouble. In this island battle, Japan currently had the upper hand. Lord Miyagawa wanted to end the battle quickly in one go. The 6 ninjas of Japan did not take the Chinese martial artists seriously at all. Even the strongest of the Dragon God was on the verge of death. How long could the rest of them survive? This is the information from the intelligence department. Everyone, take a look. It's the expert that China found. Lord Miyagawa passed down a stack of information. Everyone had one, and on it was Qin Feng's information and photo. Fuck, how old is this guy? He can also be considered an expert? I think there's really no one left in China. Disdain instantly appeared in Autumn Windblade's eyes. Yimehui, Kuroma-kun, Tyranno-kun, and the others also had a look of disdain. Some of them even crumpled the information into a ball and threw it away like trash. But at this time, Chiyoya, who was sitting in the lower row, had a huge change in expression. As if she had received a huge shock, she immediately jumped up from her chair. Chiyoya, what's wrong with you? Kuroma-kun glared at Chiyoya. Chiyoya was considered his subordinate. In this tent, only Lord Miyagawa and the 6 great shinobi had the right to speak. Even Chiyoya, as the #1 ninja of Japan, did not have the right to speak. Chiyoya realized that she had lost her composure, but she could not calm herself down. The moment she saw Qin Feng's information, a storm was set off in Chiyoya's heart. Ever since her money laundering scheme in Hong Kong failed, Chiyoya had been wanting to kill Qin Feng day and night to avenge herself. This man had taken her chastity, and this was something that Chiyoya could not tolerate. Kuroma-kun, I know this man. Chiyoya tried her best to control the anger in her heart and said coldly. Everyone was shocked. Their gazes fell on Chiyoya. Kuroma-kun quickly asked, You know him? Who is he? How powerful is he? This man is the one who sabotaged our money laundering scheme in Hong Kong. He's not that powerful. He was only a stage 9 energy warrior at that time. Chiyoya explained the situation, and everyone was shocked. Kuroma-kun quickly regained his senses. His expression was fierce. Baka! So it's this bastard who sabotaged our money laundering scheme in Hong Kong. He caused us Yamaguchi-gumi to lose billions of funds every year. Autumn Windblade was also furious. He shouted just in time. He's just a stage 9 energy trash. I can kill him with one slash. The group of godly ninjas represented the pinnacle of martial arts in Japan. They were arrogant and haughty. How could a stage 9 energy young man be a threat to them? They couldn't wait to capture Qin Feng and chop him into pieces. Chiyoya continued, Kuroma-kun, I have a presumptuous request. I hope I can kill Qin Feng with my own hands. Everyone was stunned. They could tell that Chiyoya hated Qin Feng very much. However, no one knew about the conflict between Chiyoya and Qin Feng, so no one cared about it. As the #1 heavenly ninja in Japan, your strength is comparable to a martial artist at the pinnacle of stage 9 energy. You're more than enough to deal with that bastard. I'll leave him to you. Bring his head to Master Miyagawa. Kuroma-kun ordered. Chiyoya's eyes were filled with killing intent. He had been away from China for almost a year, and now it was time for him to take his revenge. The meeting ended. The 6 godly ninjas returned to their respective rooms to rest. Kuroma-kun stopped outside the tent for a while. When Chiyoya came out, he said, Chiyoya, go to my room. Chiyoya furrowed her brows. She didn't want to go to Kuroma-kun's room alone. However, Kuroma-kun was her master, so Chiyoya couldn't disobey his order. Both of them entered Kuroma-kun's tent one after another. Kuroma-kun opened the tent and checked the surroundings to make sure no one was passing by. Then he pounced on Chiyoya. Kuroma-kun, what are you doing? Chiyoya was the #1 heavenly ninja in Japan. She reacted quickly and dodged Kuroma-kun's dirty hands. Kuroma-kun missed his target. A wretched smile appeared on his face. He stared at Chiyoya's towering breasts and said, Chiyoya, you're a ninja that I've trained. You're the #1 heavenly ninja in Japan at the age of 25. In a few years, you'll definitely become a godly ninja. I've trained you for so many years, so you should repay me, right? Chiyoya had a feeling that Kuroma-kun harbored evil intentions towards her since a long time ago. She was grateful and respectful towards Kuroma-kun, but she didn't have any romantic feelings for him. Her originally dignified and tall master had now become a wretched person. This made Chiyoya's heart turn cold. Kuroma-kun, I, Chiyoya, will remember how you've trained me. I, Chiyoya, will do anything you ask of me in the future. However, I can't do this kind of thing. Chiyoya's attitude was firm. The smile on Kuroma-kun's face suddenly disappeared. He slammed his palm on the wooden table next to him, and the solid wood square table instantly turned into its shavings. Chiyoya, I've doted on you for nothing. Don't think I can't tell that you're no longer a virgin after returning to Japan from Hong Kong. You fooled around with men in Hong Kong. Can't you serve me? Kuroma-kun had been eyeing Chiyoya's beauty. Every time he thought about how he wasn't the one who conquered this woman's first time, his heart burned with rage. Now that Chiyoya had matured, she was at her most alluring. No wonder Kuroma-kun couldn't help but reveal his fox's tail. Chiyoya's expression was so cold that it was about to drip water. Her body was forcefully taken by Qin Feng. This was a scar in her heart, but it was opened by Kuroma-kun. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Chiyoya's voice was cold as she hurriedly walked out of the house. Since Kuroma-kun had already shed all pretense of cordiality, how could he let Chiyoya go? His figure flashed, and he blocked the door like a ghost. Kuroma-kun, what's the meaning of this? Chiyoya's heart tensed up. She was afraid that Kuroma-kun would use force. She wasn't Kuroma-kun's opponent. What do you think I'm doing? Since you don't know how to repay kindness, then I'll personally teach you. Kuroma-kun's beady eyes were filled with a light smile. His figure flashed, and he pounced towards Chiyoya. Chiyoya cried out in fear. She instinctively tried to dodge, but she couldn't avoid the god ninja's attack. Seeing that Kuroma-kun was about to hug Chiyoya, a soldier hurriedly ran in from outside. Baka, we'll let you in. Get out. Kuroma-kun was shocked. In the end, he stopped before he could touch Chiyoya. Chiyoya was like a startled little deer, and she hurriedly ran out. The soldier was already terrified. This was a god ninja from Japan, and he could kill anyone with a single palm strike. And Lord Kuroma-kun, it's Chief Miyagawa who asked me to find you. Kuroma-kun's expression changed, and the evil fire in his heart immediately dissipated. Miyagawa was a high-ranking member of the Japanese government. Even Kuroma-kun didn't dare to neglect his orders. Why is Miyagawa looking for me? Okay, it seems like the Chinese are attacking. Miyagawa wants to send you and Lord Chiyo Feng to fight, the soldier hurriedly said. After knowing that there was a serious matter, Kuroma-kun completely gave up on the idea of forcefully pushing Chiyoya. Moreover, Chiyoya had already run away, so it would be difficult to find her tonight. Chapter 1259. When he saw Chiyoya, Black-Eye Lord felt uneasy. As one of the 6 great ninjas of Japan, he would not be punished severely even if he raped Chiyoya. However, the 6 great ninjas were famous in Japan, and he could not afford to lose face like that. Black-Eyed Lord, you're here. Lord Agua waved at Black-Eyed June. Black-Eyed June walked over anxiously. Lord Miyagawa, what's the matter? Lord Miyagawa said, our army just sent an urgent message. The island's waters are under attack. It seems like Qin Feng is here. I'm summoning you and Autumn Wind Blade to assist him. Lord Miyagawa did not mention anything else. Black-Eye heaved a long sigh of relief in his heart. That ant really dares to challenge the dignity of our great empire? Don't worry, Lord Miyagawa. I alone can chop off that brat's head and report back. Everyone had seen Qin Feng's information at the conference not long ago. He was merely a stage 9 inner chi cultivator. So how could a godly ninja like Kurome take him seriously? Master Magua nodded and continued. For safety's sake, it's better if you go with Autumn Windblade. Oh, that's right. Miss Chiyoya also volunteered to fight. She said she wanted to cut off Qin Feng's head with her own hands. Black-Eyed Lord glanced at Chiyoya and finally understood why she was here. All right, let's go and support them now. Black-Eyed Lord and the other 2 had already set off for the waters of the island. Night had fallen, and the sky above the waters was pitch black. However, an intense battle was taking place there. More than a dozen Japanese warships sailed in the middle of the water, but the Chinese fleet was nowhere to be seen. From time to time, The sound of cannons could be heard from the surface of the sea. Who knew what they were hitting? But in the dark night, two fireballs flickered incessantly, as frightening as will-o'-the-wisps. Whoosh! The wind whistled past Qin Feng's ears as he stepped on the golden whirlwind wheel and flew rapidly above the island. Qin Feng had already familiarized himself with the terrain of the entire island. Behind him, there was a flash of pink light, and the mystical dragon was grumbling incessantly. "I say, kid, can you slow down a bit? I almost lost him. Senior Dragon God, your broken flying sword won't do. Hurry up and change to a gold-grade flying spiritual weapon," Qin Feng said with a smile. Shenlong was so angry that he almost fell off the flying sword. This sky cloud was a pink flying sword that he had spent a lot of effort completing quests to obtain. Just for this sky cloud, Shenlong had borrowed hundreds of thousands of peace points from the system. He hadn't even fully repaid the debt yet, but Qin Feng despised it. The divine dragon glanced at the pair of golden whirlwinds beneath Qin Feng's feet. His mouth opened and closed, but he couldn't find any words to refute. Rumble! A muffled sound exploded beside the two of them. A cannonball soared into the sky and almost hit the two of them. The divine dragon did not complain anymore. He looked at the dozen or so battleships beneath his feet with a serious expression. "Oh no, the enemy has discovered us." Qin Feng's expression was cold as he suddenly dove towards the surface of the sea. "Good, you've discovered it. Let's fight." Before the divine dragon could react, it saw a golden light that was 100 meters long appear in the dark night sky. It was a golden saber chi. Like a golden phoenix, it rushed into the sea and immediately set off huge waves, as if there was a tsunami. Rumble! Just as the golden phoenix slashed down, Qin Feng casually threw out dozens of palm strikes. Fire rained down from the sky, lighting up half of the sky like it was daytime. The soldiers on the battleships finally saw the situation in the sky clearly. When they saw Qin Feng standing on two balls of fire and hovering in the void, they were scared to death. What is that? How can that person fly? Where did the fire rain come from? Had the enemy launched an attack? How dare these Huaxia pigs resist? They must be courting death. That's not the enemy's firepower. It seems to be from the person in the sky. How is that possible? Quick, quick, report to General Zeding. The fire rain fell from the sky, instantly catching the soldiers on the Japanese battleships off guard. It was a mess. Many people threw down their weapons and ran away like rats. Some people hurriedly picked up the walkie-talkie to talk to General Zeding. "General Zeding, bad news. Something big has happened. What are you panicking for? Tell me properly." A stern voice came from the walkie-talkie. A gray-haired old man was observing the situation on the sea from a tent on the shore of the island. This man was General Zeding, the naval commander sent by Japan this time. "Our battleships are under attack. It seems like a god has come from Huaxia." The soldier's voice was trembling. General Zeding roared, "Bullshit. The #1 martial artist of Huaxia was suppressed yesterday. What kind of powerful person can come? It must be the Huaxia Navy that launched an attack during the night. These people are really cunning. Tell everyone not to panic. Fight back." General Zeding stood on the shore, unable to see the specific situation on the sea. He did not believe that a god had come from Huaxia. Looking at the sky full of fire, General Zeding firmly believed that the Huaxia Navy had launched a sneak attack. The soldier did not say anything after receiving the order. He could only ask the others to fight back. At this time, the three of them arrived at the shore of the island. Seeing the fierce fire on the sea, the three of them were shocked. "General Zeding, what is going on?" Black Eye Lord hurriedly asked. "Those despicable people from Huaxia dared to launch a sneak attack during the night. Don't worry, everyone. Huaxia's navy has always been weak. They are courting death. I have given the order to launch a fierce counterattack. I believe that in less than half an hour, all the Huaxia Navy's battleships will sink to the bottom of the sea." General Zeding said arrogantly. He did not take the Huaxia Navy seriously. The expressions of the three of them eased. They did not think highly of the Huaxia Navy or the mysterious force. The battle on the sea had just begun, and it was getting more and more intense. After receiving General Zeting's order, the Japanese battleships launched a fierce attack on Qinfeng and Shunran without any hesitation. Rumble. Loud explosions sounded in the sky. The cannonballs shot up into the sky and exploded in the sky like beautiful fireworks. However, the power of the cannonballs was endless. A slight touch from the cannonballs could blow a person into pieces. These Japanese battleships are crazy. They really launched a cannonball attack. Are they declaring war on Huaxia? Shenron stepped on the clouds and dodged the cannonballs. His face was so cold that it was about to freeze. As the #1 martial artist in Huaxia, he had been guarding the Mount Divine Dragon for the past 20 years, protecting the peace of Huaxia. The last thing Shenron wanted to see was war. Now that the peace was disrupted by Japan, he was completely enraged. How dare you behave atrociously in Huaxia? Let Grandpa teach you a lesson. Swoosh! With a flash of pink light, Shenron turned into a sharp arrow and shot toward the sea. A purple longsword appeared in his hand. The sharp sword chi was piercing toward a huge battleship on the sea. Bang! 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 The sword chi of a true energy realm expert was not to be underestimated. When it collided with the battleship, a loud sound of metal clashing rang out. However, these battleships were built with special materials and were extremely hard. Even after Shenron's fierce attack, the battleship did not show any cracks. Screech! On the other side of the sea, the angry cry of a heavenly eagle suddenly sounded. Dozens of purple heavenly eagles descended from the sky. When they dove into the sea, they raised a few meters high wave. The Japanese soldiers were stunned by this magical scene. One moment, the sky was raining fire, and the next moment, the heavenly eagle was diving into the sea. It felt like a dream. Rumble. The power of the heavenly eagle bow was even stronger than Shenron's sword chi. The collision caused the few battleships to sway uncontrollably on the sea. The soldiers in the cabins were so scared that they fell to the ground. The people in the control cabin all hid on the deck at the back. Even the soldiers who fired the cannons had disappeared. General Zeting, the enemy's firepower is too strong. I feel like we can't hold on much longer. The captain of the soldiers started to contact General Zeting again. Everyone could see the battle on the sea. General Zeting, Hey Mu, and the other two had solemn expressions. They were all stunned by the purple heavenly eagles that covered the sky. What the hell were those? A bunch of trash. You're afraid of a mere Huaxia navy? Quickly counterattack. Counterattack. General Zeting roared angrily. In the end, he even added, if necessary, you can fire the secret weapons and send out the fighter jets. As soon as these words came out, the soldiers were all stunned. Secret weapons and fighter jets were all trump cards. Nowadays, when countries were in conflict with each other, they would not use such equipment. If they were to fight, it would definitely be a lose-lose situation. However, General Zeting had already given the order. These soldiers could only obey. Seeing that the few battleships were about to capsize under the attack of the Heavenly Eagles, the captain of the soldiers immediately gave the order to launch the fighter jets and tracking cannons. Swoosh! Suddenly, more than 10 cannons shot out from the sky. They were twice as fast as the previous cannons. They left a trail of smoke in the dark night and headed straight for Qinfeng and Shenron. Pink light and flames flickered. Qinfeng could barely dodge the pursuit of the tracking cannons by stepping on the golden tornado wheel. However, Shenron was having a hard time. Tianyun's speed was still too slow. Something's wrong. What kind of cannons are these? They're different from before. Shenron's expression was solemn. Qinfeng suddenly hovered in midair. He turned around and slashed down with his saber. The golden saber chi that was hundreds of meters long sliced the air in half. A huge cannon was sliced in half and exploded in the sky above the sea. Rumble. A huge explosion rang out. Strong winds blew on the sea surface, creating waves that were tens of meters tall. It was even more spectacular and ferocious than a tsunami. Shenron's expression changed drastically. He roared angrily. These Japanese ants are crazy. The power of these cannons is comparable to a missile. How dare they fire a weapon with the power of a missile? Are they trying to fall out with Huaxia? Qinfen did not expect the Japanese fleet to be so arrogant. They were willing to sacrifice everything for the sake of the island. The blood of Huaxia Dragonians in Qinfen's body boiled. Flames of fury shot out of his eyes. He charged toward the 3 tracking cannons. The golden phoenix saber in his hand slashed down again, as if he was going to split the entire sea in half. Bang, bang, bang. Loud explosions rang out on the sea surface. The sounds of explosions and waves rose and fell. A few Japanese battleships capsized in the waves. The people on the battleships screamed in fear and sank to the bottom of the sea. Chapter 1260. Thud, thud, thud. Damn it. Japan is really going to rebel. They even dare to use fighter jets. Don't blame me for not showing mercy. Qinfeng's expression was cold. He looked at the row of fighter jets as if they were nothing. His figure flashed and arrived in front of one of the fighter jets in a few breaths. Without waiting for the pilot on the fighter jet to react, Qinfeng struck out with his palm. Flames of destruction soared into the sky like a fire dragon and engulfed the entire fighter jet. In the blink of an eye, loud noises could be heard from within the fireball. Shenron was shocked and quickly recovered. His expression turned cold. He raised the purple sword in his hand and charged at the other fighter jet. The sword chi entered the screen and landed on the fighter jet, instantly destroying it. 2 of the fighter jets fell as soon as they appeared, scaring the rest of the pilots awake. Everyone in the fighter jets communicated with each other through the walkie-talkie. The fighter jets that were originally charging forward suddenly changed their strategy and retreated at high speed. They only stopped when they were hundreds of meters away. Rumble. The speed of the cannonballs was as fast as a meteor. Shenron hurriedly stopped his attack and stepped on the clouds to dodge. He didn't even have the chance to counterattack. Playing with high technology? I'll accompany you to the end. However, this was just the beginning. Qinfeng moved his mind, and a silver cannon that was half the height of a person was mounted on his waist. The wind and cloud-mad demon cannon had 2 muzzles and could be fired at the same time. Qinfeng turned around and fired at the fighter jets in the sky. The true Qi cannonball was more powerful than the black laser cannonball. Each cannonball contained the power of a true Qi Stage 2 expert. The cannonball was as dense as raindrops and instantly covered half of the sky. 3 fighter jets in that direction were blown into pieces and fell into the sea. This person is too fierce. Let's retreat. Qinfeng didn't allow them to leave. He grabbed at the void, and a cannon with a fire dragon body appeared on his shoulder. The dragon mouth of the fire cloud cannon aimed at the void and fired 3 cannonballs in a row. The void exploded continuously. All the fighter jets that were escaping were shot down, and only a pile of debris was left. At this point in the naval battle, the Japanese soldiers had already lost their confidence. No one dared to continue fighting. All of them were shouting to turn around and retreat. Everyone, retreat quickly. China has sent martial arts masters. Our empire's 2 shinobi and number 1 ninja are on their way. Just leave the battlefield to them. The divine dragon's eyes were spitting fire. He stepped on his flying sword and was about to give chase when Qinfen stopped him. You don't have to do anything. Let my little pet deal with them. Rumble. The divine dragon was stunned by the scene in front of him. When the black tortoise completely surfaced from the sea, the divine dragon could not help but curse. You call this a fucking pet? The black tortoise wasn't in a hurry to chase after the battleship. When it saw Qinfeng, it was extremely excited. The many-banded kite opened its bloody mouth and charged forward. This scared the dragon god so much that he was ready to swing his sword at the many-banded kite at any time. He was deeply afraid that Qinfeng's pet would go wild and swallow him whole. The many-banded kite naturally wouldn't hurt Qinfeng. It wrapped itself around him and pulled him onto the sea turtle's shell. Roar! The sea turtle had already started moving forward. Its speed was as fast as a nuclear submarine. The battleship had only escaped halfway when the black tortoise had already caught up to it. It was just a tsunami roar from the sea turtle, and the huge waves on the surface of the sea overturned the 2 battleships. It was as if the sea was about to be overturned. This spectacular scene was only seen once in 100 years. Water monster. There's a huge water monster. Jump into the sea. Everyone, jump into the sea quickly. The many-banded kite spat out a few venomous bubbles and started to swing its body on the sea. Its huge body was like a speeding train. It crashed into the battleship and instantly overturned the battleship. The Black-Eye Lord and the other two were flying on the surface of the sea. They looked like they were floating on the water using qigong. Black-Eye Lord, what is that? Autumn Wind Blade cried out in surprise. Qiuya's gaze fell on the back of the black tortoise. When she saw Qin Feng standing on it, her expression changed drastically. She suddenly leaped over. The Black-Eye Lord was also not calm. He was carrying a huge object on his back. When the black cloth on it was removed, it was actually a broadsword that was as tall as a human. The Black-Eye Lord roared angrily and carried the broadsword. Autumn Wind Blade's black eyes flickered. He stared at the broadsword in the Black-Eye Lord's hand and muttered to himself, "One of the 6 godly swords of Japan, Sky Slash." As expected, it's domineering. The Ghost Blade and Sky Slash were both among the 6 godly swords of Japan. The strength of a godly ninja with a godly sword was unfathomable. "You bastard! How dare you show off in front of a godly ninja? Watch me cut you in half." Bang! 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 The many-banded kite shrieked in pain. Its body tumbled wildly on the sea, and it knocked 2 battleships into the sea. "Ah! You bastard, die! Rumble! Roar! Monster, let me fight you!" The Black-Eye Lord held the broadsword that was as tall as a human. His slash seemed to affect the power of heaven and earth. The waves rose again, and the few battleships swayed unsteadily in the huge waves. It seemed like they were going to capsize at any time. The sea turtle roared angrily again. The many-banded kite also regained its senses and spat poisonous bubbles at the Black-Eye Lord. However, at this moment, a figure flew up and hovered in front of the black tortoise. Chapter 1261. Qin Feng stood on the golden whirlwind wheel and hovered in the air like a god of war. His eyes were as cold as the boundless earth as he looked down at Black-Eye Kun. Qin Feng from China. Black-Eye Kun was stunned. He did not expect that the man in front of him was Qin Feng. He looked at Qin Feng's face carefully and realized that he looked exactly like the man in the information. There's no one else in China that they sent a piece of trash like you. I'll kill you with 1 slash. Black-Eye Kun quickly regained his senses. He knew from information that Qin Feng was only a stage 9 inner chi warrior and did not take him seriously at all. He Yijun raised his saber and stepped on the surface of the sea. He was like a fighter jet flying over the sea. Wherever he went, fierce waves were stirred up. In just a few breaths, Black-Eye Kun had arrived in front of the sea turtle. He leaped into the air and swung his sword at Qin Feng. Rumble! The 100-meter-long sword Qi exploded in the air. It was extremely powerful. Qin Feng's eyes narrowed. He quickly stepped on the golden whirlwind wheel and retreated 100 meters. This Japanese godly ninja was more powerful than he had imagined. In other words, the power of the 6 godly swords of Japan was not to be underestimated. Black-Eye Kun's sword had already landed on the ground, but loud noises came from all directions. Huge waves rose from the sea. The black tortoise was roaring furiously. Even the dragon god retreated a few hundred meters, not daring to get close to the center of the battle. "Brat, don't hide if you have the guts. Are all Chinese cowards?" Black-Eye Kun laughed hysterically. He thought that Qin Feng was scared by his sword. 2 fireballs flickered in the sky and arrived above Black-Eye Kun's head in a few breaths. A golden sword slashed down from the sky like a fiery phoenix swooping down. "Since you're so powerful, why don't you stand still and let me slash at you?" As soon as Qin Feng finished his words, the sword Qi had already engulfed Black-Eye Kun. The Black-Eye Lord had never taken Qin Feng seriously from the beginning. He was very annoyed and stood motionlessly on the surface of the sea as he looked at the sky with a playful expression. "You're just a piece of trash from stage 9 inner chi. How dare you act wildly in front of me? I'm one of the 6 godly ninjas of Japan. Before Lord Black I could finish his boasting, his expression suddenly changed. The golden saber chi had already arrived above his head. The violent and turbulent aura seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and the earth. Even Black Eye Lord was stunned by this attack. The power within it was not any weaker than his saber chi. Baka, you're not a stage 9 inner chi cultivator. The Black Eye Lord roared angrily and hurriedly retreated on the surface of the sea. The explosions around him continued, and the waves surged violently. They were like speeding cars crashing into the Black Eye Lord. No matter how tough his body was, he couldn't take it anymore. Lord Xiaofeng, hurry up! Black Eye Lord was disrupted by this strike and retreated all the way to the battleship at the back. The moment he boarded the ship, he spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. Autumn Wind Blade finally came down from the sail with great difficulty. He was so angry that he blew his beard and stared at Chufeng. He was one of the dignified shinobi of Japan, but he was beaten by a monster from the bottom of the sea. If this matter were to spread out, wouldn't the ninjas of Japan laugh their heads off? Huaxia actually had this kind of underwater weapon. No wonder they dared to attack our empire at night. Autumn Wind Blade roared angrily as he stepped on the waves. He didn't pay much attention to the battle between Qin Feng and the Black Eye Lord. Even now, he still didn't take Qin Feng seriously. In his eyes, the biggest threat was the Black Tortoise. As long as this underwater monster was eliminated, the Huaxia people wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow. Compared to the Black Eye Lord's domineering long sword that was as tall as a human, Autumn Wind Blade wielded a slender samurai square sword. The body of the sword glimmered with a pink light. Obviously, it was also a pink spiritual weapon. The demon sword was already swung at lightning speed. Autumn Wind Blade and the Black Eye Lord sword techniques were completely opposite ends of the spectrum. The Black Eye Lord sword technique focused on ferocious momentum and stirred up raging waves with every strike of his sword. Autumn Wind Blade, on the other hand, focused on the exquisite and profound sword technique. Bang, bang, bang. Loud noises resounded continuously on the surface of the sea. Although there wasn't the spectacular scene of the surging waves, the sea around the Black Tortoise had become turbulent waves. The waves crashed towards the Black Tortoise like a ferocious beast. The huge impact was as powerful as a meteorite falling from the sky. The Black Tortoise kept roaring in anger. Just the earth-shattering sound of the crashing waves was enough to send chills down one's spine. Autumn Wind Blade, the day before yesterday, we didn't have a clear winner. Let's fight again today. A white shadow flashed by. Just as the divine dragon's purple spiritual sword was about to fall, he saw a golden sword aura explode in midair. The golden phoenix fell, and the entire sky was split in half. Autumn Wind Blade was stunned. He didn't care about Qin Feng's existence at all. All he wanted to do was to kill the Black Tortoise. Now that the turbulent and violent sword aura was densely covering him, Autumn Wind Blade didn't even have time to react. He was instantly engulfed by the sword aura. Rumble. There were explosions everywhere. A generation of godly ninja, Autumn Wind Blade, was directly blown into pieces and scattered in the sea. The commotion on the surface of the sea didn't stop for a while. Divine Dragon was stunned on the spot. He looked at Qin Feng in a daze, and then looked at his opponent who had disappeared. He didn't know what to say. You killed Autumn Wind Blade? Divine Dragon finally came to his senses with great difficulty. Qin Feng acted as if nothing happened. He said indifferently, I killed him. Didn't you see? Divine Dragon almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He realized that Qin Feng's strength was increasing day by day. It was as if he was riding a rocket. Although One Blade Autumn Wind was the weakest among the 6 great ninjas of Japan, he was still in existence comparable to a true Qi Stage 3 expert. Yet, he was chopped down by Qin Feng with a single blade. Just how powerful was Qin Feng now? Flames flickered, and Qin Feng had already landed on the surface of the sea. The many-banded kite drilled into the sea and disappeared for a while. Suddenly, it soared into the sky. It held a samurai sword in its mouth and threw it to Qin Feng. It was the go sword used by Autumn Wind Blade. After getting the ghost sword, Qin Feng put it into the emerald spirit ring. This was, after all, a rare pink high-grade spiritual weapon. Qin Feng naturally wouldn't throw it away. A godly ninja of Japan had fallen. Black-Eye Kun, who was standing on the warship opposite, still hadn't woken up. He stared at Qin Feng in disbelief. How the hell is this a Stage 9 Inner Chi stage martial artist? A Stage 9 Inner Chi stage martial artist could kill a godly ninja of Japan with one strike? The information was wrong. Black-Eye Kun felt that he was about to die from the information provided by Japan. But at this moment, a black shadow leaped on the surface of the sea. That person was wearing a black ninja outfit and blended in with the night. He leaped on the surface of the sea like a swallow and headed toward Qin Feng. Bastard die. Chiyoya's heart was in turmoil the moment she saw Qin Feng. She wanted to find an opportunity to assassinate Qin Feng, but she realized that Qin Feng was no longer the same as before. What kind of powerful existence was this? Cutting down the autumn wind with one slash? Among all the experts in Japan, perhaps only Tino Kun could do this. However, Chiyoya held a deep grudge against Qin Feng. Even though she knew she would die, she still tried her best to attack. Rumble. As a #1 sky ninja of Japan, Chiyoya's strength was not weak. She held a slender light sword in her hand. She raised the sword and brought a row of waves with it. In the blink of an eye, the long sword pierced through the waves and reached Qin Feng's heart. Clang! A crisp sound rang out. Qin Feng casually waved his hand, and the waves around him subsided. The light sword in Chiyoya's hand fell into the sea. It's you? I let you escape last time. You dare to come and kill me again? Qin Feng recognized Chiyoya immediately. He hadn't seen her for more than a year. She was as cold as ever, but her figure had become even more alluring. Chiyoya had lost her weapon to kill, and she felt hopeless. She couldn't understand how Qin Feng broke through so quickly. For the past year, Chiyoya had trained hard day and night just for this moment of revenge. When she finally met Qin Feng, she realized that she was falling further and further behind him. You bastard, I'm going to kill you. Chiyoya seemed to have gone mad. Without her light sword, she threw throwing knives into the air. However, these hidden weapons were useless against Qin Feng. Qin Feng casually shot out a ball of destructive fire and melted the throwing knives, forcing Chiyoya to jump into the sea. Rumble. As a qualified Japanese ninja, Chiyoya had long trained in the art of sea battles. When she entered the sea, she was as agile as a fish. Suddenly, she appeared behind Qin Feng and leaped out of the sea. Bang! Without her light sword and throwing knives, Chiyoya struck out with her palm. Her seemingly soft and delicate palm had the power to topple mountains and overturn seas. However, this power was too weak for Qin Feng. He didn't even dodge. He leisurely walked on the sea. His footwork was exquisite and mysterious, and he just happened to dodge Chiyoya's attack. Woman, if you dare to mess around again, I won't be polite anymore. Qin Feng was a little angry and glared coldly at Chiyoya. Chiyoya was so angry that smoke came out her head. Last time, you pushed me down, and now you want to be rude? Today, either you die or I die. If you have the guts, kill me. The more Chiyoya fought, the angrier she became. She realized that she couldn't even hurt a single hair on Qin Feng's head. Gradually, Chiyoya became flustered. She didn't have any tricks up her sleeves at all. She completely became an angry girl who randomly kicked and hit. The golden phoenix in Qin Feng's hand never fell. After all, this woman in front of him had sex with him before. Qin Feng leaped and reached out to pull Chiyoya into his arms. This woman had just fallen into the sea. Her thin night clothes were sticking to her body, showing off her curvaceous figure even more perfectly. Ah, let go, I'm going to kill you. Chiyoya screamed in fear. In a fit of anger, Qin Feng slapped her perky butt and scolded, If you dare to scream again, do you believe that I won't push you down again? Chiyoya's screams stopped abruptly. She gritted her teeth and glared at Qin Feng. She couldn't help but recall the scene when she was pushed down by Qin Feng in the suburbs of Hong Kong. Raging flames rose in her heart, but Chiyoya calmed down. She knew that she was no match for Qin Feng. If she messed around now, She might really be pushed down by this stinky man again. Qin Feng, what are you doing? At this moment, Mystical Dragon flew over and glared at Qin Feng angrily. He knew Qin Feng's past very well. This guy used to be a dissolute and hedonistic young master. However, this was a crucial moment in the war between the two countries. This brat actually acted up again. He even captured a female captive and wanted to mess around. I didn't do anything. Qin Feng looked at Mystical Dragon innocently. Chapter 1262. Qin Feng was frustrated. He said with a straight face, "What did I do? I'm fighting a ninja from Japan." The Divine Dragon said disapprovingly, "I think you're more like a ninja from Japan." His words made Qin Feng and Xiaoya feel awkward. Xiaoya quickly pushed Qin Feng away and slapped him again. "Bastard, I'm going to kill you." Rumble. Xiaoya did not show any mercy. Her attack missed and created a huge wave on the surface of the sea. The Divine Dragon shook his head and left abruptly. He stepped on his flying sword and went to look for Black Eye Kuan Kuan. "Who are you?" Black Eye Kuan Kuan raised his sky slash when he saw the Divine Dragon. "I'm the Divine Dragon of China. I'm here to punish you invaders." Black Eye Kuan Kuan's expression kept changing. He quickly recalled the Divine Dragon's identity. He was the man who fought Autumn Windblade to a draw. "You want to fight me? Go to hell." Black Eye Kuan Kuan was holding back his anger. He suddenly raised his sky slash, and 2 rows of waves soared into the sky like a skyscraper. The Divine Dragon was shocked. He quickly swung his sword. The sword chi and saber chi clashed in the air, shaking the warships. "Oomph. You dare to call yourself the strongest in China with this little ability? Has Huaxia become so down and out?" Black Eye Kuan Kuan quickly figured out the Divine Dragon's strength. He was only at stage 2 of true chi. The Divine Dragon's expression turned serious. He realized that Black Eye Kuan Kuan was even more powerful than Autumn Windblade, especially that mighty long saber. It was unstoppable. Rumble. Sky slash slashed down again. The long saber chi collided on the sea like a long dragon. The Divine Dragon did not take it head-on this time. He stepped on the clouds and dodged the attack. However, the saber chi was so dense that it seemed to cover the sky and earth. A shockwave crashed into the Divine Dragon and sent him flying. "Haha, the strongest in China? You're going to die under my saber." Black Eye Kuan Kuan arrived like a shadow. He did not give the Divine Dragon a chance to catch his breath. This was the strongest in China. Black Eye Kuan Kuan was excited. As long as he killed the Divine Dragon, he would be famous in Japan. He raised his huge sky slash above his head and slashed it down towards the sea. The seawater seemed to have been sliced in half by the powerful saber energy. The waves surged. The Divine Dragon lay on the surface of the sea, but did not sink. His white robe and long hair were messed up by the saber wind. It was as if he was bound by a huge pressure and could not move for a while. "You bitch, get out of the way." On the other side, Qin Feng saw the situation the Mystical Dragon was in. He was being pestered by Xiaoya. In a fit of anger, he picked up Xiaoya and threw her onto the back of the sea turtle. The flames flickered, and in the blink of an eye, Qin Feng was standing on the head of the Divine Dragon. He swung his golden phoenix, descends the sky blade, and 100-meter-long golden blade aura condensed instantly, as if it was going to split open the sky. Rumble. As the 2 violent saber energies collided, it felt like the end of the world. Black Eye Lord's pupils constricted as he hurriedly retreated. Qin Feng hovered motionlessly in the air, using his body to prop up the sky. The explosions around him were intense, and many of the shockwaves hit him, but none of them reached the Mystical Dragon. "Qin Feng, don't worry about me. Let's go." The Mystical Dragon roared angrily, but Qin Feng hurriedly retreated and stood on the surface of the sea. He struck his palms out quickly, and a layer of ice formed above the 2 of them. The ice glowed blue, and it looked dreamy in the night. The violent explosions were separated by the layer of ice, and the 2 sides of the ice seemed to be 2 different worlds. The Mystical Dragon had already stood up and pulled Qin Feng away. Just as the two of them reached a safe area, the layer of ice suddenly exploded, and the energy accumulated on it exploded instantly. It sank to the bottom of the sea like a cannonball, creating a huge wave on the sea. Brat, how dare you spoil my plan? Die. Black Eye Lord was so angry that he almost killed the most powerful person in China, but he was intercepted by Qin Fun. He was so angry that his eyes widened, and he swung the sky blade in his hand to attack again. You're just an ant from Japan. Today will be your death anniversary. Qin Fun was not afraid at all. He pushed the mystical dragon onto the black tortoise with his palm, and he swung the golden phoenix into the air. The two of them were still dozens of meters apart, but they both attacked fiercely with their sabers. Both the golden phoenix and the sky blade were extremely domineering spiritual weapons. The two surging saber auras kept colliding in the sky, and suddenly, there was a loud noise that sounded like thunder. The sea was disrupted, and the waves came one after another without stopping. Qin Fun swung his saber 3 times in a row and realized that long-distance attacks were useless. He exerted force on his feet, and the golden wheel of whirlwind shot out instantly. It was like Nez's wheel of wind and fire, and it brought him along at high speed. Black Eye Lord's expression turned serious. He was shocked by Qin Fun's speed, and he couldn't pinpoint Qin Fun's exact location in the dark. Coward from China, stop running around if you have the guts. Let's fight it out. Black Eye Lord's old eyes moved quickly in the night sky, and he was inexplicably flustered. However, he suddenly felt a chill behind him, and Qin Fun's voice was heard. The winner takes all, and the loser takes all. What's with all this nonsense? The speed of the saber was extremely fast, and it didn't bring along a grand aura. However, it condensed into a seemingly solid golden saber in a small area around Black Eye Lord. The sharp saber aura had already enveloped Black Eye Lord. Black Eye Lord's expression changed drastically, and he hurriedly swung his sky blade to counterattack. However, before he could do anything, he was sent flying by the saber aura. Roar! Black Tortoise's angry roar came from a sea. The many-banded kite's thick body suddenly shot up into the sky, and it collided with Black Eye Lord again before flying towards Qin Fun. The golden phoenix in his hand shone with a dazzling light. Seeing that Black Eye Lord was getting closer, Qin Fun's body flashed, and he instantly appeared in front of Black Eye Lord. He raised the golden phoenix above his head, and without hesitation, he swung it down. How dare you offend Hua Xia Dai? Qin Fun's angry roar shook the sea, and the golden phoenix split the sea into 2. The air exploded continuously, and the saber seemed to be splitting the sky and earth, but it hit nothing. Qin Fun hovered in the air, and he looked around with a serious expression. When the golden phoenix fell, Black Eye Lord's figure suddenly disappeared, as if he had disappeared by magic. Qin Fun, where is he? Shenlong had already rushed over. When he saw Qin Fun's ferocious saber, he thought that Black Eye Lord was dead for sure, but the Japanese godly ninja disappeared. He must have escaped. I can't sense his aura around here. Qin Fun looked around again, and he said gloomily. Shenlong's expression turned cold. Japanese ninjas were proficient in all kinds of ninja arts, and they were famous for their invisibility arts and escape arts. As a Japanese godly ninja, Black Eye Lord was naturally proficient in these ninja arts. He most likely used ninja arts to escape. Oh no, where's the woman? Qin Fun looked at the turtle shell, and his expression changed. He flashed and landed on the back of the turtle, but he couldn't find Xiaoya. Shenlong followed behind him, and his expression was cold. He had been watching Xiaoya to prevent her from escaping, but he was too excited when he thought that Black Eye Lord was about to be killed, and he neglected the woman. I'm afraid that the female ninja has also escaped. Shenlong sighed. Qin Fun fell helpless, but he did not blame Shenlong for it. We'll have to destroy the 6 godly ninjas of Japan sooner or later. It's not a loss for us to kill one of them tonight. Qin Fun patted Shenlong's shoulder and comforted him. Shenlong looked at the dozens of warships that had sunk to the bottom of the sea and the wreckage of the fighter jets that were still floating on the surface of the sea. As for the godly ninja, Autumn Wind, he had been blown into pieces. Shenlong's heart was in turmoil. He looked at Qin Fan in disbelief. He was stunned by the power of this demon. Qin Fan was embarrassed by Shenlong's stare. He dragged Shenlong back to the base of Huaxia. On the way back, he wanted to give the ghost blade to Shenlong, but Shenlong refused. According to him, he didn't want Japanese ninja's weapon. On the land opposite the island, the Huaxia army was stationed. The Huaxia army and the Japanese ninjas had been in a stalemate for almost a month. During this month, both sides had been fighting nonstop, but most of the time, the Japanese ninjas and the warships had the upper hand. This time, Qin Fan had defeated the Japanese warships and even killed a Japanese godly ninja in one night. When the news reached the base, it caused an uproar. The members of Dragon Gate and Huaxia's special forces were thrilled. The atmosphere was more lively than Chinese New Year. They're back. Senior Green Dragon and Senior Divine Dragon are back. Just as the two of them came ashore, they heard the guards on the shore exclaim. Then, a large group of people rushed out of the camp and shouted Qin Fan and Shenlong's names. The representatives of the 12 summits and Liu Bingbing walked out. They praised Qin Fan's battle achievements. Liu Bingbing hugged Qin Fan's arm excitedly. If there were not so many people watching, she would have given Qin Fan a French kiss as a reward. Huaxia Army's base was bustling with activity. However, on the island opposite the coast, sighs could be heard. Chioya and Black Eye Kun were the only survivors. When they ran back to the base in a panic, Master Miyagawa, who was looking at the map, was shocked. Black Eye Kun, what happened to you? Black Eye Kun was covered in wounds. He panted heavily and said, Master Miyagawa, we lost. Miyagawa's eyes widened. He thought there was something wrong with his ears. He exclaimed, what? We lost. How do we lose? It was Qin Fan who was invited by Huaxia. He defeated our warships and injured me and Chioya. Black Eye Kun was flustered. When he mentioned Qin Fan, his eyes were filled with endless fear. Qin Fan's strength completely shocked Black Eye Kun. He wanted to drag the people from the intelligence department out and kill them all. Who said that kid was only at stage 9 inner chi? The guy had probably stepped into stage 4 true chi. Master Miyagawa was stunned and couldn't come back to his senses. He couldn't figure it out. Qin Fan was just a kid in his early 20s. How could he defeat the navy of a big empire? What kind of joke was that? Black Eye Kun, don't talk nonsense. What can Qin Fan do by himself? Besides, isn't he only at stage 9 inner chi? Even Huaxia's number 1, the Dragon God. Isn't he a match for you? Chapter 1263. Black Eye Kun rolled his eyes and felt gloomy. One blade, Chiu Feng, killed Qin Fan with one slash. He had been hacked to death by Qin Fan. Miyagawa Master, the information is wrong. Qin Fan is a stage 4 true chi warrior. His strength is even higher than mine. Chiu Feng died in the battle. Clang. Miyagawa Master couldn't take this series of shocking news anymore and fell to the ground in shock. At this time, Taego-kun and the other ninjas heard the news of the defeat of the Empire's warship. They were shocked when they entered the room. Miyagawa Master, what are you doing? Let me help you up. Yimei ran to help him up. Taego-kun asked Black Eye Kun anxiously. Black Eye Kun, what happened? Black Eye Kun didn't have the face to face the other 4 ninjas. He said dejectedly, China sent Qin Fan. In the battle just now, our warship was completely annihilated. One blade, Chiu Feng, died in the sea. Only Miss Chioya and I escaped. After Black Eye Kun finished speaking, the whole tent was silent. The other 4 ninjas looked at Black Eye and Chioya in disbelief. They felt like they were dreaming. What did you say? That brat from China killed Chiu Feng and defeated our empire's warship? How is that possible? Sanjiro had a beard and was one of the ninjas. The head of the Kitagawa family, Kudo Kitagawa, was also shocked. He was in his early 40s, but enjoyed the reputation of being the number 1 kendo expert in Japan. He was the only one who was stronger than Taego-kun among the 6 ninjas. Even if Chiu Feng died because he underestimated the enemy, how did our empire's warship lose? Kudo Kitagawa couldn't understand. Everyone else had this doubt in their hearts. Their gazes all fell on Black-Eye Kuan. When Black-Eye Kuan thought of the battle not long ago, he felt a lingering fear. That giant black tortoise was like an undefeatable sea monster. Not to mention the Japanese warship. Even an aircraft carrier couldn't defeat that monster. The warship wasn't defeated by Qin Feng and China's fleet. It was a sea monster that seemed to be reared by China. Black-Eye Kuan said with a trembling voice. Yi Meihui and the others stared at each other in shock. A sea monster that could defeat the Empire's warship? What kind of sea monster was that? Nonsense. Our Empire's battleships are not weak. They are equipped with secret weapons and have fighter jets as backup. How could they be defeated by a sea monster? After a moment of silence, Lord Miyagawa suddenly roared. He had come back to his senses. The other four ninjas were also doubtful. They would never believe Qin Feng and Black Tortoise's strength without witnessing it with their own eyes. He had no idea how to convince these people. Suddenly, Chiyoya said, Master Miyagawa, senior ninjas, what Kuan said is true. That sea monster is Qin Feng's pet. It's half the size of a cruise ship, and it's a combination of a turtle and a dragon. It's very similar to the black tortoise, one of the four mythical beasts in Chinese mythology. A single roar from that sea turtle can set off 1,000 layers of waves. The flood dragon is dozens of meters long, and it can knock over a battleship with a swing of its body. Furthermore, the flood dragon can spit venom that is extremely corrosive. It's definitely a sea monster that no one has ever seen before. Chiyoya's words silenced everyone. This was like a giant beast that existed in the ancient times. How could it appear in this era? It was truly inconceivable to everyone. Everyone knew Chiyoya's personality very well. She would never lie. Moreover, there was no need for her to lie about this matter. They could find out the truth with a simple investigation. The ninjas and Lord Miyagawa had no choice but to accept this cruel reality. Isn't Qin from a stage 9 enrich? How could he kill Autumn Windblade? According to Chiyoya, that sea monster is so ferocious. Why would it listen to Qin Feng's command? Questions hung in everyone's mind. Tado Kuan asked directly. Kuan quickly said, As for why the sea monster listened to Qin Feng, I don't know either, but Qin Feng is definitely not a stage 9 enrich. He killed Autumn Windblade with one slash. I fought with him before, and he's at least a stage 4 true chi. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, and the temperature in the tent instantly dropped to 0. Killing Autumn Windblade with one slash? How powerful was that? Even if Autumn Windblade was the weakest among the 6 ninjas, he was still comparable to a stage 3 true chi expert. Among the 5 ninjas present, only Tado Kuan had the confidence to kill Autumn Windblade with one slash. None of the other 4 dared to be so arrogant. The information was wrong. Idiot. I almost underestimated him. Tado Kuan roared angrily. The rest of the ninjas felt uneasy. Lord Miyagawa had calmed down. Now that the enemy was in front of them, they had to think of a countermeasure as soon as possible. Everyone, you know what happened. Let's think about how to deal with it. As soon as Miyagawa finished speaking, Tono Kuan stepped forward and said, Miyagawa-sama, that Chinese brat is really arrogant. How dare he kill our shinobi? Tono Kuan is willing to fight him personally. The tent suddenly became quiet. Everyone looked at Tado Kuan in awe. This number 1 ninja of Japan represented the number 1 martial artist of Japan. He was also the first to step into the ranks of the ninja of Japan. He had been famous for more than 20 years. Even the other 4 godly ninjas didn't know the real strength of Tono Kuan, because no one dared to offend him ever since he became the number 1 godly ninja in Japan. Over the past decades, some Japanese warriors and godly ninjas had challenged Tono Kuan, but they were all defeated and killed. With Tado Kuan, that boy will die for sure. Not only Qin Feng, but the whole of China will be destroyed. Tado Kuan is the number 1 ninja of our great empire. Looking at the whole world, which country's mysterious force is Tado Kuan's opponent? Our great empire will be immortal. After everyone came back to their senses, they all said good things about Tado Kuan. Now that Tado-kun was willing to fight personally, Miyagawa felt relieved. But after a moment of silence, Miyagawa waved his hand and said, Tado-kun, of course, I have nothing to worry about. But you are the strong support of Japan's mysterious force. Whether we can last until the end of this island war depends on you. It's not appropriate to let you fight now. Let's send someone else to test Qin Feng's strength first. Know yourself, know your enemy, and you will always be victorious. Miyagawa's words were very reasonable. Tado-kun had no choice but to retreat. Sir, then let me challenge Qin Feng alone. Kudo Kitagawa took a step forward and stood on the ground like a lion. Everyone's eyes lit up. Kudo Kitagawa's strength was only below Tado-kun's, and he was even stronger than the other ninjas. If he fought Qin Feng, the odds of winning would be very high. All right, then we'll let Tado-kun scout out the situation first. Remember, this battle doesn't need to be a life and death battle. You just need to find out Qin Feng's strength. Then, we'll let Tado-kun fight. Although Japan was small, it had a large population. Yet, there were only 6 ninjas. Each of these ninjas meant a lot to Japan. Now that Shiokaze Blade was dead, Miyagawa had to be careful. If he killed another ninja, he would not be able to answer to his superiors. Everyone agreed with Miyagawa's plan. After discussing how to deal with Qin Feng, Miyagawa looked at Shioya and said, The 6 ninjas are the symbol of Japan's mysterious power. They are the backing of the mysterious power of the empire. Now that Shiokaze Blade has died in battle, his position needs to be filled. Miss Chiyoya, as the #1 ninja of Japan, you have the right to replace Shiokaze Blade. From tonight onwards, you'll be the new Japanese ninja. Chiyoya was shocked by his words. As a Japanese ninja, her ultimate goal was to become the Japanese ninja. Since the age of 5, Chiyoya had entered a secret base in Japan to undergo devilish training. Now that 20 years had passed, she had finally become a ninja. It would be a lie to say that she was not excited. Congratulations, Miss Chiyoya. Miss Chiyoya, we are brothers and sisters from now on. The other 5 ninjas congratulated Chiyoya. Chiyoya nodded to express her gratitude. That night's naval battle had completely turned the tide of the battle on the island. China had turned from a losing battle to a glorious rise. The number of Japanese battleships in the island territory decreased significantly. Their arrogance seemed to have weakened as well. On the 3rd day, a diplomat from Japan sent news that Tung Kitagawa, the shinobi of Japan, wanted to challenge Qin Feng of China alone. As soon as the news came out, the troops of China and the members of Dragon Sect who were stationed on the island were in an uproar. This battle was going to be a battle between 2 countries. Qin Feng, I think you shouldn't go. Japan is the most sinister and cunning. Who knows what tricks they have up their sleeves this time? In China's military base, the leaders of several special forces, the representatives of the 12 summits, and other important high-ranking officials gathered together. Qin Feng sat at the head of the round table. The rest of the people were standing in a line and discussing the battle proposed by Japan. The Dragon God had already expressed that he did not want Qin Feng to accept this challenge because Japan wanted Qin Feng to go to the island alone. Who knew if there was an ambush? Yin Wushuang and Lu Bingbing were also present. The 2 women looked anxious, but they did not say anything. They knew Qin Feng too well. It was useless to persuade him, so they could only let him make the decision himself. The representatives of the 12 summits, the military high-ranking officials. Everyone's gaze fell on Qin Feng. Now, Qin Feng represented the dignity of China's martial arts. He was the key to the success or failure of this island battle. He was too important. I'll go. Why shouldn't I go? How dare a small island country bully us, the great Huaxia? If I don't teach them a lesson, where will the dignity of China go? Without thinking, Qin Feng slammed the table and stood up. His majestic aura shocked everyone. The military high-ranking officials in the room were overwhelmed with emotions. They quickly stood up and saluted Qin Feng. They were conquered by his hot-blooded heart. Chapter 1264. Nobody could change Qin Feng's mind once he made up his mind. Divine Dragon was still a little worried, but he didn't say anything after his persuasion. Yin Wushuang and Liu Bingbing escorted Qin Fan all the way to the coast. The military officials and dragon sect's higher-ups all followed behind Qin Fan. After the two women said some words of concern, Qin Fan stepped on the black tortoise and headed to the opposite island. The black tortoise was half the size of a yacht. Qin Fan stood on the vast tortoise shell alone, like a celestial being crossing the river. Ever since he killed Autumn Windblade and sank more than a dozen warships, the number of Japanese warships in the waters of the island had decreased significantly. When Qin Fan approached the shore of the island, he saw a few warships hidden behind the shore. He's here, he's here. The Chinese brat is here. The black tortoise was too big of a target. The crew on the Japanese warships discovered Qin Fan from afar. The soldiers immediately sent the information to the base on the island. When Miyagawa and the others received the news, they all became serious. That brat really dares to accept the challenge? Oof. Then let me show him what I'm made of. Kudo Kitagawa had already stood up with a cold expression. Chiyoya also stood up abruptly. She trembled with anger when she heard Qin Fan's name. Kitagawa-kun, I'll go with you. Chiyoya volunteered to fight. Before Kudo Kitagawa could speak, Miyagawa said, Miss Chiyoya, don't go. This challenge was issued in the name of Japan's godly ninjas. It's clearly stated in the challenge letter that Kudo Kitagawa and Qin Fan will fight one-on-one. There are many countries watching this battle. It's not good for us to play tricks. Miyagawa's words dispelled Chiyoya's thoughts. She could only hold back her anger and sit back. Yimei said, This brat named Qin Fan is really arrogant. He killed Chiyo Fengquan 3 days ago and sank more than a dozen warships and warships of our great empire. We can't let this go for nothing, right? Yes, Master Miyagawa. It's rare for that brat to come alone. We have to teach him a lesson. The few godly ninjas complained. They were very dissatisfied with Qin Fan. How could Lord Miyagawa swallow this grievance? He was silent for a moment, and his expression suddenly became ferocious. He lowered his voice and said to Kudo Kitagawa, Although we can't cheat during the fight, we can suppress that kid's spirit before the fight. Everyone's expression changed as they immediately understood Lord Miyagawa's meaning. A sneer flashed across Kudo Kitagawa's face as he said, Don't worry, Lord. I know what to do. Qin Fan stepped on the black tortoise and leisurely landed on the island as the Japanese army stood in a stalemate. Looking at this resource-rich island, Qin Fan became even more determined. This was China's island, and no one could take it away. Black Tortoise received Qin Fan's order and dived into the sea to leave. Qin Fan had just come ashore when a group of fully armed soldiers surrounded him. Baka, who the hell are you? Qin Fan glanced around. There were about 100 soldiers guarding the shore, and they were all armed to the teeth. There were also a dozen or so snipers hidden in different positions. With such a tight defense, if someone really wanted to come ashore, they would definitely be killed in an instant. I'm Qin Fan, and I'm here to challenge your Japanese shinobi. Qin Fan said indifferently to the officer who asked the question. The officer's expression changed slightly, and he looked at Qin Fan again. 3 days ago, the news of Qin Fan killing the Japanese shinobi Akikes and defeating the Japanese battleship had already spread. Now, the Japanese soldiers guarding the island were extremely curious. What kind of person was Qin Fan? How could he be so powerful? You're Qin Fan? So, you're just a wild boy who can't even grow his hair. After the officer looked at Qin Fan, he started to look down on him. How powerful could such a young boy be? Perhaps there was more to the battle 3 days ago. Watch what you say, or else you'll lose your head. Facing hundreds of fully armed soldiers, Qin Fan's expression did not change. Instead, his dignified aura suppressed the officer and the soldiers to the point that they could not breathe. The officer was reprimanded in front of everyone, and he instantly lost his face. However, he did not dare to vent his anger. He felt that if he angered the Chinese youth in front of him, his life would be in danger. At this time, the officer's cell phone rang, and he quickly retreated to the side to answer the call. Less than half a minute later, the officer returned. As if he had changed into another person, he stared at Qin Fan arrogantly and said, I've just received a call from the higher-ups. Master Kitagawa really wants to challenge you. We'll search you first, and then we'll bring you into the base. After the search, the officer led the way to a heavily guarded checkpoint. Suddenly, he sneered, "You can go in now." There was no way to go in front of Qin Feng. It was a high wall with electric fences on it, and there was a dog hole at the corner of the wall. It should be a passageway for military dogs to enter and exit. How do you want me to go in? Qin Feng was so angry that he laughed, and he looked at the officer coldly. The smile on the officer's face became wider. He had just received a call from the higher-ups, and they wanted to beat Qin Feng up and dispel his arrogance. He scolded coldly. "Are you blind? Isn't there a dog hole? Don't you know how to crawl into it? Huh, why don't you drill one for me to see?" A murderous look flashed in Qin Feng's eyes. The officer was a little unsure. Standing in front of Qin Feng was really pressuring. However, he looked at the hundreds of armed soldiers behind him and immediately calmed down. "Baka, you want me to drill a dog hole? That's reserved for you Chinese cowards." Bang! Just as the officer finished speaking, a violent force spread across his face. Qin Feng slapped him and almost sent his head flying. The commotion shocked everyone. In an instant, hundreds of guns were pointed at Qin Feng. The Japanese soldiers all looked as if they were facing a great enemy, and some of them were trembling. "Why you dare to hit me? Do you believe that I won't?" The officer was slapped in front of everyone, and he was so angry that he stomped his feet. He had only finished speaking when Qin Feng raised his hand again and slapped him again, sending him flying into the wall. Bang! A small crack appeared on the hard brick wall, and this was Qin Feng showing mercy. The reason why he didn't slap this despicable officer to death was because he wanted to keep him alive so that he could crawl through the dog hole. "Don't talk nonsense with me. I told you to drill through first. Are you deaf?" Qin Feng stood in front of hundreds of guns, but he was calm and composed. The officer fell to the ground and violently coughed. His bones were about to fall apart from Qin Feng's slap. The soldiers were all waiting for the officer's orders, but how could he dare to give the order to shoot? If he really killed Qin Feng now, then Japan would become the joke of the world. "Why you? Don't push your luck. I'll let you in through the main door." The officer immediately admitted defeat. He crawled up and prepared to walk towards the main door. Qin Feng kicked down and sent the officer flying into the wall. This time, the officer spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood. "Don't, since you brought me here, then let's crawl through this hole. Hurry up, you demonstrate first." The officer was like a dead dog in Qin Feng's hands. He couldn't resist at all, and he was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. "Lord Qin Feng, I came to the wrong place. You're a guest of Japan. How can I let you in through here? We'd better." The officer's arrogance immediately disappeared, and he still wanted to plead with Qin Feng. Just as he finished speaking, there was a loud bang, and a ball of raging fire appeared on Qin Feng's palm. The surrounding temperature instantly rose, but the officer was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. He was stunned by the scene in front of him. This was simply a scene that defied common sense. How could a person's palm burn with fire? Didn't that brat feel pain? "I'll give you one last chance. Hurry up and crawl through the hole, or else I'll burn you to death." Boom! Qin Feng casually slapped his hand, and the destructive fire landed on a tank at the side. The fire instantly rose with the force of a prairie fire, and the sturdy tank was directly burned to ashes. Not even a piece of it was left. Hiss! The surrounding soldiers immediately sucked in a breath of cold air, and many of them couldn't even hold the guns in their hands steadily. The officer, who was lying on the ground, shivered. At this moment, he was filled with regret. He shouldn't have offended a ruthless person like Qin Feng. Under such a powerful force, the officer's last line of defense was also broken. He had no choice but to crawl through the dog hole. Bang! Just as he crawled to the other side of the wall, a loud sound exploded on the wall. Qin Feng casually slapped his hand, and the tens of meters long protective wall collapsed, directly smashing onto the officer's body. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Oomph. Japanese people are really sick in the head. There's such a wide road, and yet they insist on crawling through the dog hole. Sigh. Under the muzzles of over 100 guns, Qin Fin strolled into the camp base as if he was taking a leisurely stroll. The group of soldiers stared at each other, not knowing what to do. The situation here was clearly seen by the people in the camp, and Miyagawa Master and the ninjas were so angry that they gritted their teeth. Shioya's body was trembling, and her beautiful face was twisted. She almost rushed forward to fight Qin Feng with her life. Baka, this brat is really bold. Does he really think that our great empire doesn't dare to kill him? Lord Takano placed his withered hand on his waist, where a large blade hung. Miyagawa Master was also very angry, but he finally calmed down and advised everyone, don't be anxious. Let Lord Kitagawa go scout first. Kudo Kitagawa immediately stood up and walked out of the tent. Master, I'll go first. Just as Qin Feng arrived near the camp, he saw a middle-aged man in his early 40s striding over. The man was dressed in a black ninja outfit. His expression was ferocious, and his footsteps became faster and faster. When he was 10 meters away from Qin Feng, he suddenly leaped up as if he had crossed the 10 meters in an instant and slapped his palm towards Qin Feng. Sick man of Huaxia, I'm the Japanese ninja Kudo Kitagawa. Let me see what you're capable of. Kudo Kitagawa had already attacked without saying a word. His two palms missed, but they exploded into the ground, leaving a huge handprint. Qin Feng had already retreated tens of meters away. He looked Kudo Kitagawa up and down. From the aura of his palm, it was already comparable to a stage 4 martial artist of Huaxia. Chapter 1265. Kudo Kitagawa's expression changed slightly as he was shocked by Qin Fen's strength. When they first received Qin Fen's information, it showed that he had reached stage 9 inner chi. However, 3 days ago, Qin Fen killed Kudo above the island and shocked all the ninjas in Japan. However, only Kurenai and Shoya witnessed that battle. As for Kudo Kitagawa and the rest, they did not believe that Qin Fen was powerful. In a tent not far away, Master Miyagawa and the 5 ninjas were watching the battle. Even though they only exchanged one blow, it caused a heated discussion among the people in the tent. Tado-kun, how strong is that kid? Master Miyagawa looked at Tado-kun nervously. Thrice Man said he's so fast. He's even faster than me. His aura is as calm as the sea and fearless in the face of danger. This kid is not simple. Yi Meihui also expressed her opinion. As for Kurenai and Shoya, they did not speak. Kurenai's body began to tremble uncontrollably when he saw Qin Fen. Shoya, on the other hand, gritted her teeth and suppressed the anger in her heart. After a round of discussion, everyone's gaze fell on Tado-kun. He was the #1 ninja in Japan, and his vision was higher than everyone else's. Tado-kun's expression was solemn as he was slightly shocked. Qin Fen was only a young man in his early 20s, but he had already reached such a high realm. Even Tado-kun was not as strong as him when he was young. However, Tado-kun would not say these words out loud as it would destroy his prestige. This kid is indeed skilled, but that's all there is to it. I'm confident that I can kill him. Takano-jun was proud and arrogant and looked down on Qin Fen. When he said this, Yi Meihui and the others calmed down. Great. With Tado-kun here, what's there to be afraid of? Master Miyagawa laughed excitedly. On the other side, the battle between Qin Fen and Kudo Kitagawa had just begun. After missing his attack, Kudo Kitagawa leaped and landed on the roof of a tent. His gaze was sharp as if he wanted to see through Qin Fen. Brat, how dare you kill our Japanese ninja, Akikes? Today, I'll make you pay with your blood. Kudo Kitagawa shouted at Qin Fen, who was on the ground. Qin Fen stood with his hands behind his back. Behind him were over 100 Japanese soldiers. They were all hiding tens of meters away with their guns aimed at him, as if they would open fire at any moment. Qin Fen raised his head and glanced at Kudo Kitagawa, who was in the sky, and said indifferently, Autumn Windblade is just the beginning. My plan is to eliminate the 6 shinobi of Japan. Next, it's your turn. Qin Fen was in the enemy's camp, surrounded by a group of fully armed soldiers and facing a Japanese shinobi. Yet, Qin Feng remained calm and composed. Just this aura alone was enough to shock everyone. Kudo Kitagawa was instantly enraged, but he had some doubts in his heart. He didn't understand where Qin Feng's confidence came from. Even if he was at the fourth layer of true qi, he shouldn't be this arrogant, right? Arrogant brat. Let me see how capable you are. With a roar, Kudo Kitagawa transformed into a black shadow and suddenly shot out, as swift and violent as a cannonball. Cries of surprise could be heard from the surroundings. These Japanese soldiers had never had the chance to see the shinobi in action before, so they were all shocked by what they saw. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, Kudo Kitagawa's figure had already arrived, and he waved a palm at the top of Qin Feng's head. The wind from the palm was strong, and it fell on a stone pillar, instantly smashing the cement stone pillar into pieces. The crowd had long been dumbfounded, feeling like they were dreaming. Qin Feng had not made a move since he appeared, and he had been dodging the opponent's attack. Kudo Kitagawa slashed several times, but he couldn't hurt a hair on Qin Feng's head. He was so angry that his eyes stared outside. As expected of a Chinese coward, you only know how to dodge. If you have the guts, fight me head-on. Qin Feng was so fast that even Kudo Kitagawa felt powerless in his heart, so he began to provoke him. As he spoke, Kudo Kitagawa leaped up and instantly arrived above Qin Feng's head. His strong palm slammed down from the sky, as if it had the power to split a mountain. Mountain-breaking palm. Japanese karate was strong and fierce, and Kudo Kitagawa's palm was created according to the perfection of karate. The wind blew from all directions, messing up Qin Feng's long hair and fluttering white clothes. The seemingly ordinary palm was like the five-finger mountain of Buddha pressing down from above. This time, Qin Feng did not dodge. He suddenly threw a punch into the sky. The punch carried the roar of thunder and the roar of a tiger. Its power soared to the sky, and it collided with Kudo Kitagawa's palm. A loud sound spread out, and the ground under Qin Feng's feet cracked dozens of cracks. Kudo Kitagawa directly shot into the sky and was actually sent flying by Qin Feng's punch. Hiss! The soldiers on the island gasped, and they could not even hold the spears in their hands steadily. That was Kudo Kitagawa, the great shinobi of Japan. He was in existence like a god in the eyes of the people of Japan. He was a powerhouse who stood at the top and represented the height of Japan's martial arts. Yet, such a powerful being was sent flying by a young Chinese kid? Baka, what's going on? That boy defeated Kudo Kitagawa? Not only were the soldiers outside shocked, but Miyagawa in the tent was also dumbfounded. Kirome and Shio, you were still dumbfounded and did not speak. Sanjiro and Yi Meiwei gritted their teeth in anger. Tado Kuin's expression became colder. He realized that he had underestimated Qin Feng's power. Kudo Kitagawa was the second most powerful of the 6 great shinobi of Japan. Was he going to be defeated? Miyagawa, don't worry. The battle has just begun. Kitagawa Kuin is the #1 swordsman in Japan. He has not used his sword yet, and the outcome is unknown. Tado Kun quickly calmed down. He was still very confident in Kudo Kitagawa. Miyagawa also calmed down a little, and everyone began to watch the battle unblinkingly. The battle here was getting more and more intense. Kudo Kitagawa's palms kept striking down. His karate skills had reached perfection, and every palm cut through the air, bringing with it a mountain-splitting aura. However, several palms missed, and a large pit was formed on the ground. Qin Feng, wearing the Starlight boxing gloves, counterattacked with the special Thunder Tiger fists. Every punch was like a tiger, and thunder roared in all directions, scaring the soldiers on the island into shivering. Rumble. It was another fierce collision. A fierce tiger formed by the wind of the fist pounced forward, instantly sending Kudo Kitagawa flying. He spat out a few mouthfuls of blood in midair, and his body fell, knocking over a row of tents. Kitagawa-kun, are you okay? The group of soldiers suddenly woke up. Someone to check on Kudo Kitagawa's situation, and more soldiers suddenly raised their guns. The sound of bullets being loaded filled the surroundings. Qin Feng stood under the hundreds of muzzles, and his expression did not change at all. He looked arrogantly at the place where Kudo Kitagawa fell, and said lightly, "This is the strength of the Japanese shinobi? You're really deliberately mystifying. This island is the land of Huaxia. If you leave quickly, I will spare your lives." Qin Feng was surrounded by people, but he still spoke ruthlessly, causing the group of soldiers to be dumbfounded. The few shinobi in the tent blew their beards and glared at him. Sanjiro and Yi Meihui were ready to rush out and kill Qin Feng together, but they were stopped by Tado-kun. "Don't act recklessly. That will ruin the reputation of our great empire. Everyone, don't be anxious. Kitagawa-kun is only making his move now." Everyone was stunned, and they looked toward the battlefield in confusion. Suddenly, a black shadow shot out from the collapsed tent. Kudo Kitagawa appeared in midair. He grabbed his back with both hands, and a pair of dazzling pink long swords sliced through the sky. Whoosh! The air was filled with the sound of swords. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng was surrounded by hundreds of sword chi. The soldiers felt a chill, and they were forced to retreat dozens of meters. Qin Feng stood in the center of the sword chi. He raised his hand lightly, and a golden sword chi soared into the sky, like a fire phoenix crying angrily in the sky. Rumble! The two sword chi collided, and the surrounding row of tents were all blown up. Qin Feng's sword fell, and he suddenly leaped up. Two balls of burning flames appeared under his feet. His originally swift and fierce movements became even faster, and he flashed in the void like a meteor. "Where are you running to? Freeze for me." Kudo Kitagawa thought that Qin Feng was trying to escape, and he stabbed the void. The two swords in his hands were one of the 6 godly swords of Japan, and they were called yin-yang. The two swords were of the same size and shape, but one was burning like a raging fire, and the other was freezing. The sword that stabbed the void was the yin sword. It slashed through the air, and an icicle was formed. The surrounding temperature plummeted, as if it had frozen. The soldiers shivered from the cold, and even the people standing in the tents could feel the endless chill. Yi Meihui and the other ninjas immediately circulated their chi to protect their bodies, and they managed to survive. Miyagawa, on the other hand, didn't know any martial arts, and his body started to freeze. It felt like he had fallen into a world of ice and snow in Antarctica. Kitagawa-kun's yin-yang sword is out. That brat Qin Feng won't be able to block it. Tado-kun pressed his hand on Miyagawa's back. Instantly, a warm current flowed over, and Miyagawa returned to normal. Then, Tado-kun's old eyes fell on the yin-yang sword in Kudo Kitagawa's hand, and his heart yearned for this godly sword of Japan. Whoosh! The noise in the distant sky was incessant. Under the scorching sun, icicles appeared one after another in the air. This scene was really strange, and it caused everyone to exclaim. Qin Feng stepped on the golden whirlwind wheel and shuttled freely among the icicles. Even he was shivering from the cold. When Kudo Kitagawa saw this, he was overjoyed. The yin sword in his hand danced faster, and he looked up to the sky and shouted, "Ha ha! Chinese trash! I'll show you how powerful I am." The long sword waved, and the icicles instantly expanded. It was as if half of the sky had turned into a land of ice and snow. The golden whirlwind wheel under Qin Feng's feet was frozen, and his speed was greatly reduced. Seeing the icicles coming at him, he slapped his hand, and a surging fireball fell like a sea of fire. Boom! The destructive fire seemed to condense into a fire dragon, and wherever it went, the icicles instantly melted into water droplets. Qin Feng waved his hand, and the golden phoenix long sword turned into a fiery red spear. The spear of rat halos spun in his hand at the speed of a helicopter's wings. The destructive fire was blown to the ground, and it was like a rain of fire falling from the sky. Baka! What is this thing? How is this possible? Kudo Kitagawa, who was waving his sword on the ground, had a huge change in expression. He quickly stopped and retreated. He was so scared that his heart was about to jump out of his throat. Chapter 1266. Everyone in the tent base was stunned, and the atmosphere fell into a dead silence. Miyagawa Master finally woke up and looked at Tado-kun in panic. What's going on? Can Tado-kun withstand it? Not long ago, Tado-kun had confidence in Kudo Kitagawa, but now, even he had no confidence. Chinfun's strength was beyond everyone's expectations. This guy was young, but he was full of treasures. He casually shot out flames and suppressed the Een sword in Kudo Kitagawa's hand. That was one of Japan's 6 divine swords. Don't worry, everyone. Let's wait and see. Tado-kun didn't dare to make any promises and said some ambiguous words. The fire rain outside was still falling, and the soldiers on the island had long been scared out of their wits. The heavenly fire was really powerful. No matter what it touched, it would be burned in an instant. Dozens of cannons, tanks, and armored vehicles in the base were all burned. As for the number of soldiers who were burned to death, it was even more uncountable. Kudo Kitagawa finally came to his senses. Seeing that several fireballs were about to hit him, he hurriedly stabbed out with his Een sword. An icicle soared into the sky and blocked the speed of the fireballs. He used this gap to leap up and head toward Chinfeng, who was in midair. Boom! The yang sword in his hand stabbed out, and suddenly the temperature rose. A long flame dragon whizzed out and collided with the fireballs in the sky. The 2 flames exploded in the sky, and the momentum was shocking. Sparks flew everywhere and scattered on the entire island, as if it was going to burn the entire island. The few people in the tent base were shocked. Miyagawa Master was so anxious that he almost ran out to stop Kudo Kitagawa. If the 2 of them continued to fight like this, the island would definitely be burned into a barren island. Chinfen also realized this problem. This was an island in Huaxia territory. If they really burned it, the loss would be huge. With a wave of his hand, the destructive fire suddenly dissipated, but there was still a flame in the air. Chinfen stepped on the golden whirlwind wheel and leaped in the fire. Wherever he went, he shot out ice and fire to neutralize it. After a while, the scene of the fire rain disappeared, and there were still some ice thorns scattered on the ground. Kudo Kitagawa stood rooted to the ground, completely dumbfounded by Chinfun's methods. He had the Een Yang sword to slash out flames and ice, but Chinfun could casually shoot them out. A Chinese demonic cultivator. So this kid is a demonic cultivator. Inside the camp, Lord Tabo's expression was solemn. Lord Blackeye couldn't help but ask, Lord Tabo, what do you mean by demonic cultivators? Most of these Japanese shinobi had never been to Huaxia, and there were even fewer Huaxia warriors who had fought with them. They only knew that there were orthodox martial cultivators in Huaxia, but they didn't know that there were devil cultivators or even evil cultivators. Tono-kun, on the other hand, was different. When he was young, he went to the land of Huaxia alone and challenged many martial arts masters. In the end, he returned to Japan with an undefeated record. It was this challenge that made him famous, and he was given the title of Japan's #1 shinobi. Over the past few decades, the martial arts masters of Huaxia who had been defeated had also gone to Japan to challenge him, but they were all defeated and died. Among the Huaxia masters that Tono-kun had fought, there was a strong demonic cultivator. Demonic cultivators are even more difficult to deal with than martial cultivators. The demonic chi that forms in their bodies can be converted into fire, ice, and other elements. Takano explained a little, and the other shinobi were left speechless. If that's the case, doesn't that mean that Kitagawa-kun's Een Yang divine saber has lost its effect? Yi Meihui exclaimed. As one of the 6 shinobi of Japan, everyone was very familiar with the other shinobi's divine saber. Tono-kun nodded helplessly and said, Indeed, it has lost its effect. But don't worry, everyone. This time, Kitagawa-kun is just testing Chinfeng's strength. It won't be a battle of life and death. If he really can't win, Kitagawa-kun will escape. The tent suddenly became quiet, and the atmosphere became heavy. That was Kudo Kitagawa, the 2nd strongest among the 6 shinobi of Japan. Now, he was forced to escape by a young martial artist from Huaxia. However, The truth was right before their eyes, and they had no choice but to believe it. In the open space outside the tent, the rain of fire and ice finally fell. Huge pits were formed on the ground, as if a war had just taken place. Kudo Kitagawa's black ninja uniform was torn and tattered, and his body was covered with wounds. He held a long sword in each hand and stared coldly at Qin Feng. Huaxia Ant, I, Kudo Kitagawa, started practicing kendo at the age of 10. I'm talented and became the youngest kendo expert in Japan at the age of 25. Now that 15 years have passed, there hasn't been anyone in Japan who can surpass me in kendo. You've successfully angered me. I'll show you my power. The prestige of shinobi was very important. Kudo Kitagawa didn't retreat at all. Instead, his fighting spirit was ignited. The two swords in his hands suddenly combined and overlapped, forming a treasured sword of ice and fire. The cold air and heat on the long sword fused and emitted a gentle aura. It was as comfortable as a spring breeze. However, Qin Feng's expression became serious. There was a strong, murderous aura hidden under this gentle sword aura. Even he felt a little uneasy. Exclamations came from the tent. Yi Meihui shouted, "In and Yang combined. Is Kitagawa-kun going to use his trump card?" Thrice Man, Kiron-kun, and Akiyo were also shocked. As a member of Japan's ninjas, everyone knew that Kudo Kitagawa's swordsmanship was the best in the empire. However, very few people had seen the sword that made him famous. Rumor had it that when Kudo Kitagawa was only 25 years old, he split the raging waterfall under Mount Fuji with his sword. The waterfall, which was hundreds of feet high, fell like a heavy object. However, he split it in half with his sword. Since then, it had shocked Japan. The two swords combined completely, and Kudo Kitagawa's entire aura changed. He held the long sword high above his head and slashed down in a seemingly light manner. Suddenly, the wind and clouds changed, and a violent aura surged. Qin Feng was already prepared. Without hesitation, he slashed down with his sword. The golden phoenix in his hand shone brightly. 100-meter-long golden sword slashed down with the power to split mountains and rivers. The two auras collided in the air, and the loud sound was earth-shattering. It was as if the sky had exploded. Rumble, rumble. The sound didn't stop, and the two people in the air disappeared. Kudo Kitagawa was sent flying to the coast 100 meters away. His body smashed a reef into pieces. Qin Feng fell into the forest deep in the island. No one knew if he was dead or alive. The coast was in ruins. It was like the aftermath of a fierce battle. The row of tents was blown away. Tino-kun and the others looked at each other, not knowing what to do. "Quick, let's go check on Kitagawa-kun." Miyagawa-sama was the first to recover and rush to the coast. 3 days ago, Autumn Wind Blade sacrificed himself on the island's waters. If Kitagawa-kun died as well, Miyagawa-sama wouldn't be able to sit in his current position. The few godly ninjas regained their senses and rushed to the coast. Tino-kun was the fastest. Just as he arrived at the coast, he saw a golden light flashing in the sky behind him. There was a figure in the golden light, holding a long sword that was as domineering as the wings of a phoenix. He stood on 2 balls of fire and floated in the air. Kudo Kitagawa's sword was extremely powerful. It was a force that could split a waterfall that weighed millions of pounds into 2. Qin Feng was sent flying by the violent airflow. He activated the Vajra Esotery and relied on his invincible golden body to resist the attack. The rest of the godly ninjas also noticed Qin Feng in the air. They looked at the sky in disbelief. No one would have thought that Qin Feng would still be alive after Kudo Kitagawa's attack. "You bastard! Watch my sword." Chiyoya had been holding back until now. When she saw Qin Feng, she leaped into the air. Qin Feng did not seem to see Chiyoya. The golden phoenix in his hand slashed down. The 100-meter-long golden sword aura shrouded the sky, as if it was going to split the earth. The godly ninjas quickly retreated in fear. Even Tino-kun's eyes were filled with fear. Before Chiyoya could reach Qin Feng, she was forced back by the violent sword aura. The long sword went toward Kudo Kitagawa, who was unconscious on the ground. The godly ninjas pulled Miyagawa away. Tino-kun gritted his teeth and waved his sword in the air, trying to save Kudo Kitagawa. A white sword shadow appeared and exploded in the sky like a cloud. Qin Feng stepped on the golden whirlwind wheel and appeared behind Tino-kun. "How dare you stop me from killing? Go to hell." Qin Feng was completely enraged. The golden phoenix in his hand slashed down again. It was like a fire phoenix swooping down. Tino-kun was flustered. He had to block Qin Feng's attack and protect Kudo Kitagawa at the same time. He slashed his saber in the air again and roared, "Huaxia people, this battle is over. You can consider it a draw. Hurry up and get out of the island, or else we won't be polite." Qin Feng was amused by Tino-kun's words. He had beaten Kudo Kitagawa unconscious and could kill him at any time. In the end, Tino-kun said that this battle was just a draw. He was simply lying through his teeth. Qin Feng ignored Tino-kun's threat. He attacked with both palms, and several balls of destructive fire fell. The surrounding air seemed to be evaporating. Tino-kun's eyes flickered with fear. He did not dare to touch the raging sea of fire. He slapped Kudo Kitagawa to one side and flew to the other side. Boom! The fireball smashed a huge pit on the ground. Chiyoya and the others stood 100 meters away and watched with their mouths agape. With a flash of golden light, Qin Feng had already arrived above Kudo Kitagawa. The golden phoenix in his hand slashed down without hesitation, creating a series of violent wind-breaking sounds. The Japanese godly ninja's expressions changed drastically. Miyagawa was so shocked that he fell on his butt. "Brat, how dare you?" Tino-kun roared angrily, but before he could finish his sentence, the saber chi exploded on the ground. The area was like a landslide. The huge explosion instantly blew Kudo Kitagawa into pieces. Not even a shadow of him could be seen. The explosion had not stopped. Tino-kun and the others could not come back to their senses for a long time. To think that a shinobi of Japan was killed right under their noses. This was simply a fantasy. "Baka, how dare you kill Tino-kun? Godly ninjas of our great empire. Kill this brat and bury him with Tino-kun." Chapter 1267. Swoosh! The air exploded, and the sword chi soared into the sky as if it was going to split the mountains and rivers. There was a loud noise in the air. Even though Qin Feng had held back, it still caused a huge commotion and directly knocked Chiyoya to the ground. The other 4 godly ninjas flew over like 4 black swallows and surrounded Qin Feng in the blink of an eye. "How dare you kill Kitagawa-kun under our noses? Don't even think about leaving here alive." Sansei Lang glared at Qin Feng angrily. The double-edged sword in his hand was gleaming with a cold light. Everyone was hurling harsh words at Su Yin. Black-Eye Kun stood the furthest point with his heavenly executioner in hand. A hint of fear flashed in the depths of his eyes. The naval battle 3 days ago had left a deep shadow in the heart of this Japanese shinobi. Qin Feng roared and suddenly turned into a golden light. The speed of the golden wheel whirlwind was so fast that it created afterimages in everyone's eyes. They couldn't even pinpoint his exact location. Rumble. Sansei Lang rolled on the ground and narrowly avoided the life-or-death attack. However, the fear in his heart had not subsided. Previously, he was just watching the battle between Qin Feng and Kudo Kitagawa from afar. Now that he had experienced it himself, he had a deep understanding of Qin Feng's strength. Tado-kun had ruined Qin Feng's plans several times. Qin Feng's figure flickered, and in a few breaths, he was already swinging his sword. Rumble. Every slash contained a powerful force that could topple heaven and earth, causing the ground to tremble. "Baka, you Chinese ant, you have completely angered me. I will teach you a lesson." He leaped into the air like a ghost. Strong winds surged around him, and huge waves appeared on the surface of the sea. This is Japan's #1 godly ninja. It's my first time seeing him in action." Sensei Lang and the others were stunned. They stood rooted to the ground and forgot to attack. Although they were also godly ninjas, they were still far from Tato-Kuin's strength. Rumble. Suddenly, a sword chi came from behind Qin Feng, but he couldn't see anyone behind him. Qin Feng quickly moved to the side, but he was still hit on the shoulder and fell to the ground. The Japanese people exclaimed in surprise. Their faces were filled with excitement, and they were happier than the new year. As expected of Tato-Kun, the #1 shinobi in Japan, his invisibility technique is so powerful that even I can't find him. Under the protection of the invincible golden body, his body was as tough as steel. He was invincible in the inner chi stage and could not be killed. If he could break through to the second level of the Vajra esoteric art and activate his silver blood true body, his physical body would be invincible against experts of the true chi stage, and he would be in an undying state. The jubilant Japanese ninja soldiers immediately quieted down. They looked incredulously at Qin Feng, who was scurrying around in the sky as if nothing had happened. Tuoi Jun's aged voice rang out from the void, but his figure could not be seen. Even he was shocked by Qin Feng's strength. Qin Feng's thoughts moved slightly, and he quickly purchased a heat sensor mirror from the system. In such an intense battle of life and death, you brats still have the time to act cool? Whoosh! With a loud explosion, a 100-meter-long crack appeared on the ground. The surroundings suddenly quietened down. The Japanese soldiers and ninjas did not understand what was happening. Takano Jun had almost been injured. He hit on the shore and looked at Qin Feng vigilantly. At first, he didn't think much of Qin Feng. Then, he began to take him seriously. Now, fear filled his heart. Qin Feng hovered in the sky like a god of war. As for the Japanese soldiers, they were so scared that they could not even hold their guns tightly. Unwavering was sitting on the ground, too weak to get up. Everyone knew that Takano Jun had made his move again. However, no one could see his figure in the sky, and no one knew where Takano Jun was. The distance between the two was getting closer and closer. Everyone on the ground was extremely nervous, waiting for the huge movement that was about to happen in the calm sky. A muffled sound spread out, as if a muffled thunder had struck the sky. In the midst of this powerful sword chi, Qin Feng was still hovering in the sky, as if he did not notice anything. Haha, go to hell, Chinese ant. Another slash fell, and the air was cut open. Qin Feng suddenly disappeared. That calm voice came from behind Takano Jun, but it sounded like the summons of a demon from hell. Rumble. Qin Feng quickly stepped on the golden tornado wheel and dashed away. He used the heat sensor mirror to search for Takano Jun's location, but he could not find him. The people on the ground watched in confusion. No one could see Tai Jun. All they saw was Qin Feng fighting happily in the air. It was as if he was really fighting someone. Qin Feng circled around in the sky, but he could not find Takano Jun. Suddenly, a dozen battleships appeared on the shore, and without warning, they fired their cannons at Qin Feng. Rumble. Every black was an extremely powerful cannon fire. As long as it brushed past an ordinary person's body, they would immediately be blasted into ashes. Baka, are these Navy soldiers crazy? Everyone protect Unwavering and leave this place. Thrice Man snapped out of his daze. He pulled out the double blade slash from his waist and leaped into the air, deflecting all the cannonballs that landed around him. Chioya was still unwilling to leave. She looked at Qin Feng in the sky, and her eyes were filled with anger. She leaped into the sky and charged at Qin Feng. Chapter 1268. The cannons rained down as if they were going to blow up the entire island. The people on the shore had already run away. They all hid on the shore and watched the shocking scene. However, there were still two people fighting on the island. Chioya ignored the rain of cannons and swung her slender short sword towards the sky. Die, you beast! Chioya looked like she was going to die with Qin Feng. Qin Feng ignored her and casually smashed the thin sword in her hand. Then, he grabbed her and landed on the ground with her in his arms. You beast, let go of me. Chiyoya struggled in Qin Feng's arms. Qin Feng was pissed off. Not only did he not let go, he even grabbed her butt. Do you believe that I'll strip you naked if you continue to cause trouble? Chiyoya was stunned. However, in the next second, flames shot out of her eyes. She looked like she wanted to bite Qin Feng to death. How dare you take advantage of me? I'll make you suffer. Chiyoya was stunned before she could finish her sentence. Qin Feng moved his hand up and pressed on her collar. Are you shouting? You know where to touch next time. Qin Feng chuckled as he glanced at Chiyoya's legs. Chiyoya was so frightened that her entire body trembled. She suddenly felt hopeless. She realized that the difference between her and Qin Feng was like the difference between heaven and earth. It was impossible for her to kill this man. The two of them stood quietly on the island. Qin Feng could not bear to move his hand away. This Japanese woman had a sexy figure and was very unique. The sky was filled with cannons, but the two of them did not seem to see it. Chiyoya's eyes suddenly lit up. She hugged Qin Feng tightly and pressed her cherry lips against his. She took the initiative to kiss him passionately. Qin Feng was stunned by the softness and fragrance in his arms. However, he quickly snapped out of it and realized that Chiyoya was flying into the sky with him in her arms. There was a cannonball streaking across the sky like a meteor. You crazy woman, do you have to drag me along if you want to die? Qin Feng was furious. He slapped Chiyoya away and disappeared in the sky with a golden flash under his feet. Chiyoya landed on the shore and was rescued by a group of Japanese soldiers. Qin Feng looked at the ferocious cannons. If this continued, the island would be destroyed. He stepped on the whirlwind golden wheel and rushed to the Huaxia base on the other side of the shore. The golden light in the sky disappeared, leaving only the flying cannonballs. After Qin Feng had left for a while, the bombardment gradually stopped. However, the soldiers and ninjas surrounding the island were still on guard. They looked around nervously, afraid that Qin Feng would suddenly appear again. That kid really left this time. An old and powerful voice suddenly rang out, clearly falling into the ears of everyone on the shore. Lord Miyagawa's face lit up with joy, and he hurriedly went forward to greet him. Tino-kun, you're not dead? Where'd you go? Yimei, Black-Eye Lord, and the rest immediately ran over. Their hearts were finally at ease. Lord Takano, why did you suddenly disappear? That brat Qin Feng is too arrogant. He should be killed. The few ninjas grumbled, dissatisfied with the fact that Qin Feng escaped. Tono-kun suppressed the anger in his heart and kept silent with a cold face. He had almost been killed by Qin Feng, so why would he let Qin Feng live? If he really did that, all the Japanese soldiers and ninjas on the shore would not be able to survive. After a moment of silence, Tono-kun opened his mouth and said, I used the invisibility technique to get on the battleship. I was the one who ordered the soldiers to fire the cannons. Everyone was stunned, and they looked at Tono-kun in disbelief. Lord Miyagawa shouted, What? You asked to fire the cannons? Why did you do that? Tono-kun had looked down on Qin Feng not long ago, but now he had to admit that Qin Feng was the strongest opponent he had ever met after he became famous. If I didn't fire the cannons, that kid would not have left. Although I did not use all my strength, I'm not confident that I could kill him. Tono-kun's words shocked everyone. How could the #1 ninja of Japan be afraid of a kid from Huaxia? Tono-kun sighed and said, I'm just playing it safe. Lord Miyagawa, let's talk in the tent. Miyagawa and the other ninjas were jolted awake. They realized that Tono-kun had something important to tell them. However, as soon as Qin Feng arrived, all the tents on the island were destroyed. Miyagawa immediately ordered the soldiers to set up a new base of tents. They walked into the tent. Lord Miyagawa couldn't wait any longer, so he asked directly, Tono-kun, what's the matter? Tono-kun and the 5 ninjas of Japan were in the tent. No one else had the right to enter. Lord Miyagawa, Qin Feng's strength is beyond my expectation. He is a formidable opponent for me. Tono-kun's words stunned everyone. He was the #1 ninja of Japan for decades. Ever since he became famous after he went around the world to challenge experts, he had never met a worthy opponent. No one had expected that the battle on this island would attract the attention of a true powerhouse from Huaxia. Tono-kun, are you saying that you can't defeat that brat? Miyagawa asked nervously. The other four ninjas were also worried. If Tono-kun couldn't defeat Qin Feng, then the mysterious power of Japan would be defeated by Huaxia. Tono-kun shook his head and said, "It's not that I can't defeat that brat. If I had used all my strength just now, I'm confident that I could kill him. But if I did that, I would be severely injured and might even die, so I pretended to be defeated and planned new plan. That way, I would be able to kill Qin Feng and inflict heavy damage to Huaxia's base." Everyone's spirits were lifted. Miyagawa asked what plan. Tono-kun was in no hurry to speak. Instead, he looked at Chiyoya. His pair of old eyes emitted a sharp light. "Miss Chiyoya, you said that Qin Feng ruined the Yamaguchi-gumi's money laundering operation in Hong Kong. That time, all the Yamaguchi-gumi members who went to Hong Kong were killed. Everyone was discussing the battle on the island, but who would have thought that Takano-kun would suddenly ask about another matter? They didn't know what was going on, but they were curious. Logically speaking, Chiyoya should have been sacrificed in that incident." Chiyoya suddenly became nervous as everyone stared at her. She stammered and couldn't speak. Tono-kun waved his hand, and a short sword appeared in his hand. He hovered it above Chiyoya's head and said angrily, "Tell me, are you a traitor? Have you been subdued by Qin Feng during the money laundering mission?" Whoosh! The base was in an uproar. Chiyoya was a traitor? If that was the case, then it was terrifying that a ninja from Japan was in the Yamaguchi-gumi and secretly tipped off the Huaxia organization. Chiyoya was shocked. She didn't expect Tono-kun to suspect her. She survived because she was raped by Qin Feng and found a chance to escape. This matter concerned Chiyoya's chastity, so she didn't want to say it. However, since it had come to this, she would die if she didn't say it. "Tono-kun, I didn't betray the Empire. I was raped by Qin Feng. I wanted to kill him." Everyone was shocked again. They looked at Chiyoya strangely. Black Eye Kun was the most agitated. He knew that Chiyoya didn't have a complete body after returning from Hong Kong. So this was the reason. "No wonder, Miss Chiyo, you kept requesting to go out and kill Qin Feng. So there's a reason behind it. As a woman, we could understand Chiyoya's feelings." Thrice Man and Tono-kun's faces were expressionless. They stared at Chiyoya and analyzed her words. "All right, I believe Miss Chiyoya didn't betray the Empire. Since you hate Qin Feng so much, I'll give you a mission. Go and kill him." Tono-kun suddenly said. "I want to kill him, but I'm too weak," Chiyoya said helplessly. Tono-kun said, "You don't have to kill him openly. This time, you're here to assassinate him. I can tell that Qin Feng is interested in you. Otherwise, with his ruthlessness, you would have died 100 times already. He killed Autumn Wind with one strike, and Kitagawa-kun also died under his blade not long ago. He showed no mercy when he killed the ninjas and soldiers of my empire, but he spared your life several times. This is also the reason why I suspected you before." Tono-kun had noticed the strange relationship between Qin Feng and Chiyoya. That was why he did not continue to fight Qin Feng. Instead, he used the warship to force Qin Feng to leave. After this analysis, everyone looked at each other. Chiyoya finally understood. She recalled the time she tried to kill Qin Feng, but was chased away by him. Chiyoya's heart was in a mess. She had a strange feeling. "Tono-kun, I understand what you're trying to say. You want Miss Chiyoya to use her beauty to kill Qin Feng?" Miyagawa stepped forward, his eyes gleaming. "That's right. That's what I'm thinking." Tono-kun said, "This way, our empire can kill Qin Feng effortlessly. Once he's dead, the four great ninjas will immediately attack China and catch them off guard. By then, Miss Chiyoya will be able to coordinate with us. We'll definitely win this battle." Everyone nodded in agreement when they heard Tono-kun's idea. Qin Feng was too powerful. If they were to fight him openly, Japan would definitely suffer heavy losses. Everyone's gaze fell on Chiyoya. She had become the key figure in this island battle. "Miss Chiyoya, this is your chance to serve the Empire. This is your honor. I hope you won't disappoint us." Miyagawa began to persuade Chiyoya. Chiyoya's heart was filled with hatred. She vowed to kill Qin Feng even if she had to die. However, her heart wavered. She could not get rid of a question. Why did Qin Feng spare her life so many times? Okay, I'll do my best. After a while, Chiyoya accepted the mission. As a ninja, she had no right to refuse orders. After the plan was decided, everyone dispersed. Miyagawa and Tono-kun stayed in the tent. After Chiyoya left, Miyagawa asked worriedly, Tono-kun, is Chiyoya worthy of our trust? Chapter 1269. Qin Feng killed his way to the island and returned triumphantly. When the members of the dragon sect and the military saw Qin Feng, they cheered. Everyone was sweating for him in their hearts. This time, their hearts that were hanging in suspense could finally be put to rest. A group of people quickly gathered around Qin Feng. Lu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang rushed to the front. At this moment, the two women had forgotten to compete with each other. They lay in Qin Feng's arms like two obedient kittens. Brother Qin Feng, are you all right? Who won the battle? Blue Dragon Ji Yi stood on the shore like a mighty mountain. Dongfang Ming Wang ignored his anger at Qin Feng. He pretended not to see Lu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang. He asked hastily, "We saw the island being bombarded with cannons. What happened?" The representatives of the 12 Peaks also came forward. The islanders didn't keep their word. It was supposed to be a one-on-one duel, but they launched a warship attack. Let's kill them now. As a member of China, they all had hot blood flowing in their veins. Qin Feng was the key to this island war. They were unhappy when they saw he was at a disadvantage. However, Qin Feng waved his hand and comforted the representatives of the 12 Peaks. I'm fine. This battle was a complete victory. I killed Kudo Kitagawa with one slash and forced Tano-kun to flee. The soldiers and ninjas on the island gave way to me. I've completely silenced his arrogance. There was too much information in Qin Feng's words. Ji Yi and the others were dumbfounded. Everyone present knew Qin Feng very well. They knew how powerful and magical Qin Feng was. However, with the help of the Hedonist sovereign system, Qin Feng's strength improved day by day. His actions shocked everyone again. Even the divine dragon was speechless. Darling, is what you said true? Lu Bingbing came to her senses and looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. Yin Wushuang was also excited. She hugged Qin Feng's waist tightly and jumped up and down. Her girlish behavior stunned everyone. Of course it's true. If it wasn't for the warship attack by those trash from Japan that almost destroyed the island and forced me to leave, I would have annihilated those bastards in one fell swoop. Every word Qin Feng said was true, but it felt like a fantasy story to everyone. Huaxia's martial arts had a long history. Hundreds of years ago, there was a mighty and powerful expert like Qin Feng who could fight against a fully armed army all by himself. He was like a legend. However, that kind of powerful being was a legend from 100 years ago. It was hard to determine whether it was true or not. In the past 100 years, no such madman had appeared. But now, Qin Feng had appeared and made the legend a reality. With Senior Qin Feng and Huaxia, who would dare to invade? The representatives of the 12 upper peaks roared into the sky. Even the way they addressed Qin Feng had changed, and they called him Senior. The members of the dragon sect were shocked. They knew that from this moment onward, Qin Feng's name would resound throughout the entire Huaxia and even overseas. He had completely ascended to the throne of the Huaxia martial arts #1, and the divine dragon would become history. Good lad, you killed 2 ninjas of Japan all by yourself. How refreshing. Shenron did not care about the fame. He patted Qin Feng's shoulder excitedly. The rest of the people came to their senses one after another, but the shock in their eyes did not subside. The representatives of the 12 upper peaks suddenly recalled something and exclaimed, Senior Qin Feng, did you just say that you defeated Tai? Don't scare me. The 12 upper peaks were the senior members of the dragon sect, and all of them were at the peak of stage 9 inner chi. They were majestic in the dragon sect and had seen all kinds of big events. However, At this moment, they were all astonished by Qin Feng's performance. Tai, is that Japan's #1 ninja, Taiyokuin? Bai Feng exclaimed. Black Dragon Sword Zong Zhou chimed in. It must be Tai. Rumor has it that he traveled all over the world looking for opponents to practice his kendo. He returned to Japan with an undefeated legend and earned the title of Japan's #1 ninja. He has never met a worthy opponent in the past 25 years, but he was defeated by brother Qin Feng. The 9 dragons and 5 tigers gathered here, staring at Qin Feng with excitement and shock. However, Qin Feng was not arrogant because he had seen through Tai Yokuin's trick. I can't say that I've defeated Tai Yi. He suddenly ran away in the middle of the fight, but I can feel that he hasn't used his full strength yet. I can't figure out what he's thinking. Anyway, don't be arrogant and be more careful. Qin Feng's arrival had accelerated the pace of the island battle, and it had reached the point of abyss of suffering. At this crucial moment, every step had to be taken with caution. A slight mistake could lead to defeat. Everyone nodded in agreement with Qin Feng's words. Divine Dragon said again, speaking of Taiyokuin, I fought him once. His kendo is very good, and I lost badly that battle. More than 20 years ago, Taiyokuin had defeated all the powerhouses in the world and found Divine Dragon among them. At that time, Divine Dragon had just stepped into the early stage of Stage 9 Inner Chi, and Taiyokuin was not as powerful as he was now. However, Divine Dragon had never mentioned this to anyone. Now that he mentioned it, everyone was shocked. His kendo is very good? Qin Feng suddenly frowned. Wasn't Kudo Kitagawa, who I killed, known as the #1 kendo expert in Japan? He could split a waterfall weighing millions of kilograms in half with one slash, and that's how he became famous. Many members of the Dragon Sect did not know about Kudo Kitagawa's achievements. Now that Qin Feng mentioned it, everyone sighed again. Divine Dragon shook his head. On the surface, it's like what you said, but it's very different in secret. You may not know, but Kudo Kitagawa was Taiyokuin's favorite disciple. It was under Taiyokuin's nurturing that he finally stepped into the ranks of Japan's shinobi. No matter how outstanding a disciple is, how can he surpass the strength of his master? When Divine Dragon said this, he could not help but think of Ling Jiuqian. Now, Divine Dragon was completely on Qin Feng's side and joined forces to deal with Ling Jiuqian. But every time he thought of his master Ling Jiuqian's strength, he felt despair. This news shocked Qin Feng. He was now even more certain that there was something very wrong with Taiyokuin. If Taiyokuin had a life-and-death battle with him on the island, no one knew who would win. But why did that person suddenly run away? Qin Feng could not figure out these things at the moment. After all, China had gained the upper hand in this battle. Divine Dragon and the others held a celebration banquet, and everyone dragged Qin Feng along to celebrate. The banquet was crowded. From Divine Dragon to an unknown guard, everyone came to toast Qin Feng. No matter how good Qin Feng's alcohol tolerance was, he was still a little tipsy after a few drinks. Liu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang could not stand it anymore, so they helped Qin Feng back to the hotel to rest. Just as they entered the room, the 2 girls started arguing. Qin Feng will sleep with me tonight. You go play by yourself. Liu Bingbing hugged Qin Feng's arm tightly and glared at Yin Wushuang. Yin Wushuang was not willing to do that. Today, Qin Feng defeated the Japanese soldiers and ninjas and killed another shinobi. The 2 girls were still overwhelmed with emotions. They wanted to spend a night alone with Qin Feng and reward him. He drank too much tonight. I'll take care of him. Qin Feng doesn't want to sleep with you because of your cold face every day. Yin Wushuang retorted. Liu Bingbing rolled her eyes. She was so angry that her body emitted a chilly aura. You look like you're smiling at people every day. You can't be any better. Anyway, I'm going to sleep with Qin Feng tonight. If you don't leave, I won't be polite, Yin Wushuang chuckled. Do you think I'm afraid of you with your mediocre kung fu? Who are you calling mediocre kung fu? Let me show you what I'm capable of. Liu Bingbing was completely infuriated. She struck her palm, and a gust of wind exploded in the air. Yin Wushuang did not even dodge. She struck her palm as well. Instantly, there were explosions everywhere, and the shoe rack at the door was blown to pieces. The violent noise woke Qin Feng up. Seeing the two girls fighting fiercely in the room barefoot, Qin Feng hurried to stop them. "You two really can't stay idle for a minute. Don't fight anymore." Qin Feng grabbed the two girls and pulled them into his arms. Seeing that he was awake, Lu Bingbing immediately withdrew her chilly aura. She said gently, "Qin Feng, you drank too much tonight. Come to my room with me." Yin Wushuang hugged Qin Feng's arm tightly and refused to let go. "Don't go to her room. Come to my room. You could do whatever you want tonight." Lu Bingbing was furious and looked like she was going to start fighting again. Qin Feng felt like his head was going to explode. He pulled the two women towards the master bedroom. "Stop fighting. Just sleep in my room tonight." The two girls were stunned. They had never thought of this idea. When they came back to their senses, they found that they were already on the bed with Qin Feng. They couldn't leave even if they wanted to. The two women, who always quarreled endlessly, never imagined that they would one day share a bed and pillow. They even served Qin Feng together. However, when they busied themselves until the sun rose, they were so tired that they had no strength left in their bodies. They couldn't care less about embarrassment and fell asleep. After a night of getting along, the relationship between Lu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang was much better. They didn't quarrel for the next few days. Sometimes, they would sit together and watch TV and chat. They actually became a pair of good sisters. Qin Feng was secretly happy. This way, he could come with them at the same time in the future. On the third day after Qin Feng killed Kudo Kitagawa, a ninja from Japan asked to see him. It was a female ninja. The members of the dragon sect were instantly on high alert. They doubted the purpose of the female ninja's visit. According to the opinion of the 12 Peaks, the female ninja shouldn't be allowed to see Qin Feng. However, after Qin Feng knew the identity of the person who came, he allowed her to see him. In the hotel suite, Yin Wushuang and Lu Bingbing had already left. The female ninja was brought over by Shun Long himself. When he saw the woman's appearance, Shun Long was speechless. During the battle at sea 6 days ago, he already guessed that Qin Feng had taken a fancy to this Japanese girl. Sakura Ninja Chiyo Yi greets hero Qin Feng. Chapter 1270. You only have 5 minutes, was Chiyoya. She was wearing a red kimono and had light makeup on her face. Her every move was enchanting and seductive. She did not look like a Japanese ninja at all. It was as if she was a completely different person. Before Qin Feng could speak, the divine dragon walked up to him and grabbed his collar. "You bastard, you're still in the mood to flirt with a Japanese girl at a time like this? Believe it or not, I'll call my sister right now and ask her to leave you." The divine dragon was speechless at Qin Feng's playboy behavior. He could not be bothered with such things, but his sister, Shuer, had fallen in love with Qin Feng. For the sake of his sister's future happiness, the divine dragon had to control the number of women Qin Feng had. Qin Feng was not angry. He smiled. "Senior divine dragon, you must be mistaken. It was this girl who came to me. I'm not flirting with her." The divine dragon was stunned. It was just as Qin Feng said. He let go of Qin Feng and turned to glare at Chiyoya. "What are you doing here? You're a Japanese ninja. Don't try to play tricks here. We won't fall for it." Chiyoya wore wooden clogs and bowed slightly like a typical Japanese courtesan. Her voice was neither fast nor slow as she said, "Senior Dragon God, I've admired Hero Qin Feng for a long time. This time, I'm here to talk to him alone." The Dragon God's face turned cold. How could he believe Chiyoya's words? However, he heard Qin Feng say, "See, I told you this woman was attracted by my mighty and domineering aura and offered herself to me. Senior Dragon God, are you blind? Get out now. Don't delay my business." Qin Feng acted like a pig. The divine dragon was so angry that he wanted to slap him to death. "No, this woman is a Japanese ninja. Her identity is questionable. I want to take her away." The divine dragon's face turned cold as he walked toward Chiyoya. Chiyoya didn't look like a ninja expert at all. She was so scared that she trembled. She hurriedly ran to Qin Feng's side and hugged his arm. She had a lovely expression as she pleaded, Hero Qin Feng, please let me stay. How could I be a match for you? If I really come to harm you, won't I be digging my own grave? Qin Feng pulled Qiuya into his arms and said with a frivolous smile, Yes, yes. How dare you assassinate me? You must have been subdued by my might and wholeheartedly submitted to me, right? Qiuya had received orders from Lord Gongchuan and had no choice but to assassinate Qin Feng. She thought she would have to go through a lot of trouble, but who would have thought that Qin Feng was a pervert? Seeing his pig-headed, brainless, and lecherous appearance, Qiuya felt a wave of disdain in her heart. Qin Feng, the divine dragon, was so angry that his face turned pale. However, before he could finish, Qin Feng angrily shouted, That's enough, divine dragon. Are you jealous of my skills and talent? You're no longer the #1 martial artist in Huaxia, yet you're not convinced by my words? I'm telling you to leave now. If you dare to disturb me and Miss Qiuya again, I won't be polite. Qin Feng suddenly turned hostile. The mystical dragon stared at him with an incredulous expression. After a long time, he swung his sleeves and left angrily. Qin Feng, just you wait. I'll defeat you sooner or later. As soon as the mystical dragon left, Qiuya's anxious heart finally calmed down. At this moment, she was lying in Qin Feng's arms and being caressed by his big hands. She was so angry that she wanted to kill him. However, Qiuya suppressed the anger in her heart. It was not easy for her to sneak into the hotel room. If she was not completely confident that she could kill Qin Feng, she would not give herself away so easily. Senior Divine Dragon, what's going on inside? As soon as the mystical dragon left the room, two beautiful figures floated over. The mystical dragon's angry expression had long disappeared. He said to Lu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang calmly, I just put on an act with Qin Feng. I think Qiuya was fooled. Lu Bingbing's face turned cold. That evil woman dared to assassinate Qin Feng. I can't wait to kill her right now. Yin Wushuang quickly stopped Lu Bingbing and advised, Don't worry, Qin Feng has his own plan. We can't ruin his plan. Qiuya is Japan's #1 ninja, but her strength is only at the peak of stage 9 inner chi. She's no threat to Qin Feng. It turned out that Qin Feng had long discovered Tyrannokuin's abnormality. He had been waiting to see what tricks Japan had up their sleeves. Today, Qiuya took the initiative to come to him, so Qin Feng beat her at her own game. He made the mystical dragon act with him in an attempt to find out Japan's secret plan step by step. Now that everything was going smoothly, Qiuya thought Qin Feng was bewitched by her. Little did she know, she had already fallen into Qin Feng's trap. Hero Qin Feng, Qiuya has learned massage techniques since young. Do you want me to massage your body? In the room, Qiuya began her next move when she saw that Qin Feng was bewitched by her. Qin Feng put on a cute expression and said defenselessly, Really? That's great. Hurry up and help me take off my clothes. Qiuya suppressed the disgust in her heart and plastered a charming smile on her face. She stretched out her slender, jade-like hands to help Qin Feng change his clothes. Very quickly, Qiuya removed Qin Feng's clothes. She smiled and said, All right, quickly lie down. Qin Feng curled his lips and said, That's it? I haven't taken off my pants yet. Qiuya's beautiful eyes flashed with coldness. She almost slapped Qin Feng with her palm. Hero Qin Feng, I only want to massage your back. You don't have to take off your pants. Qin Feng was immediately displeased. He complained, What kind of massage is that? Forget it, forget it. Don't massage me. Qiuya's heart sank. She wanted to numb Qin Feng's guard during a massage. Then, she would take the opportunity to stab him to death. If Qin Feng did not massage, how could she do it? All right then. Hero Qin Feng, please take off your pants, Qiuya said with a red face. Help me take it off. I'm too lazy to do it myself. Qiuya was so angry that her chest heaved up and down. However, she quickly calmed down and extended her hand. In the end, Qin Feng lay naked on the big bed. Qiuya was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She initially told Qin Feng to just wear his underwear, but Qin Feng ripped it off. It was Qiuya's first time seeing a man's body. When Qin Feng pushed her last time, she kept her eyes closed and did not take a closer look. Now that she had to massage Qin Feng and find the fatal acupuncture point on his neck, Chiyoya could not help but look at Qin Feng's body. Her heart started to beat faster. Lord Qin Feng, I'll start. Chiyoya extended her slender hand and placed it on Qin Feng's back. She slowly moved towards his neck. Just as she was about to grab hold of Qin Feng's neck and pinch him lightly, she heard his voice. Miss Chiyoya, weren't you saying that you wanted to kill me 2 days ago? Why did you suddenly offer yourself to me? Chiyoya's hands stopped abruptly, and her eyes darted around quickly. Mr. Qin Fengkoen, you've killed 2 Jinins of Japan on your own, and even forced Tyrannokoen to flee. I'm deeply impressed by your strength. Now that you're guarding China, I don't dare to stay in Japan anymore. I'm here to seek refuge with you. Chiyoya purposely said nice things to deceive Qin Feng. Qin Feng instantly laughed. Ha! A wise man submits to circumstances. You have good taste. If you follow me, I guarantee that you'll live a stable and wealthy life. Chiyoya felt disgusted when she saw Qin Feng lose his bearings after being praised. She wanted to commit suicide when she thought about how her body had been taken by this man. Her hands continued to move. Just as she touched his spine, Qin Feng suddenly flipped over and turned around. Ah, Lord Qin Feng, why you? Chiyoya was caught off guard. She saw something she should not have seen. She was so shocked that she jumped off the bed. Qin Feng acted as if nothing had happened. He gave Chiyoya a sideways glance and reprimanded. Woman, why are you so surprised? Hurry up and give me a massage. Didn't you say that you wanted to seek refuge with me? Chiyoya lowered her head and did not dare to look around. Her cold face was flushed. She was about to die from anger because of Qin Feng. She almost killed him twice, but she was interrupted each time. Lord Qin Feng, I think we should start from the back. Chiyoya said guiltily. Qin Feng immediately waved his hand. There's nothing to massage on the back. Let's start from the front. Chiyoya was speechless. As a ninja, she would do anything to kill her target. Since things had come to this, she had no other choice. She could only brace herself and return to the bed. Lord Qin Feng, are you thirsty? I'll pour you a glass of red wine. After Chiyoya sat down, she suddenly stood up and poured a glass of red wine. Do you want me to feed you? Chiyoya smiled seductively. She sat on Qin Feng and hooked her arms around his neck. Qin Feng laughed coldly in his heart. However, he pretended to be frivolous and said, Sure, you can feed me mouth to mouth. Chiyoya was so angry that her body trembled. She almost splashed the glass of red wine on Qin Feng's face. Sure, Lord Qin Feng, you must drink it. Chiyoya gritted her teeth and drank half a mouthful of red wine. Then, she suddenly kissed Qin Feng on the lips. She wanted to put the poison wine in Qin Feng's mouth and get up. However, she did not expect Qin Feng to hug her and kiss her passionately. Lord Qin Feng, I'll let go. Chiyoya started to struggle. Her body became cold. The frivolous expression on Qin Feng's face disappeared. He laughed coldly and said, Didn't you come to offer your body? Why are you letting go? Do you want me to push you down again? Chiyoya's expression changed greatly. She looked at Qin Feng's cold smile and felt uneasy. She felt as if he had seen through her. You bastard, I'll kill you. At this point, Chiyoya could no longer pretend. She suddenly pulled out a scimitar from the back of her waist and slashed it towards Qin Feng's neck. Clang! Qin Feng casually slapped the scimitar to the ground. He threw Chiyoya onto the bed and stood beside the bed. He looked at her coldly and said, You want to assassinate me? Since things had developed to this point, Chiyoya did not need to pretend anymore. She immediately squatted on the bed and put on a fighting stance. She shouted, Of course I'm going to kill you, you beast. This is the price you have to pay for violating me. Qin Feng laughed loudly. Ha! Do you think you can kill me? Chiyoya also laughed. I've poisoned the red wine you just drank with Japanese poison. You only have 5 minutes left to live. Chapter 1271. Haha, do you think I don't have the antidote? Chiyoya looked at Qin Feng as if she was looking at an idiot. Qin Feng's expression calmed down. He sighed as he put on his clothes. Sigh? What should I say to you? Do you think the higher-ups of Japan will give you an antidote? If that's the case, I'll be able to find the antidote from you. The smile on Chiyoya's face froze. Her beautiful eyes were filled with disbelief. She could feel the abnormality in her body. It was as if her blood was going to freeze, and her movements were slowing down. Chiyoya never thought that she would be involved in Japan's scheme to kill Qin Feng. She had joined Japan's secret ninja since she was 5 years old. She had risked her life for Japan over the past 20 years and completed many important missions. After Qin Feng put on his clothes, he walked towards the dumbfounded Chiyoya and pulled her into his embrace. His large hands caressed her body without restraint. Chiyoya's expression turned cold. However, her body was completely numb after being poisoned. She could only watch as Qin Feng ravaged her. In the next moment, Chiyoya screamed, "Why aren't you poisoned?" Qin Feng pinched Chiyoya's little face. He shook his head and sighed. "What a pity. Such a beautiful and moving Japanese girl wants to go against me. I can only kill you. Ever since I left the island, I realized something was wrong with Tuoyi. I knew that Japan was going to implement a new plan. I summoned you just to beat you at your own game. You've fallen into my trap since the beginning. No matter if you're in Japan or here, you're just a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. As for the poison developed by Japan, do you think it can kill me? Even the people from the poison sect, the #1 poison sect in China, are afraid of me. I'm an antidote expert." Qin Feng had already purchased an all-purpose antidote from the system. Not to mention the poison from Japan, even the king of poisons used by the Yin-Yang elders of the poison sect was ineffective against Qin Feng. The king of poisons was the world's most mysterious poison. After everything was clear, Chiyoya was completely disheartened. Her beautiful eyes lost their luster. She looked like a puppet whose soul had been taken away. At this moment, she widened her eyes and saw Qin Feng kissing her on the lips. It seemed like he was feeding her something. You scram? Since I've fallen into your hands, then quickly kill me." Chiyoya used the last of her strength to push Qin Feng away. She thought Qin Feng was going to push her down again. Chiyoya would rather die than be violated again. She watched as Qin Feng leisurely walked out of the room and left her sitting on the bed. Chiyoya was confused by Qin Feng's strange behavior. After a while, she was greatly shocked. She discovered that the abnormal condition in her body was quickly alleviating. Her numb and stiff limbs gradually regained feeling, and finally, they completely returned to normal. 10 minutes later, Chiyoya walked out of the room with a complicated expression. She found that Qin Feng had cured her of the poison. At this moment, Qin Feng was standing next to a large floor-to-ceiling window, holding a glass of red wine in his hand. Opposite him was the scenery of the island, and he could see some Japanese warships cruising in the sea. Why did you save me?" Chiyoya was confused. She originally hated Qin Feng to the core and swore to kill him to take revenge. However, after experiencing this incident, her thoughts began to waver. Chiyoya had served Japan loyally for more than 20 years. She did not expect that Japan would plot against her just to kill Qin Feng. In the end, it was Qin Feng, whom she hated the most, who saved her life. Sometimes, life loved to play a joke on you. Chiyoya found it extremely funny. Qin Feng did not turn around. He took a sip of red wine and said indifferently, "You're just a chess piece of Japan. You're no threat to me. After all, we've been intimate before. Why must I kill you?" Qin Feng's words made Chiyoya blush. She could not help but recall the time when she was raped on the island. Her initial anger had now calmed down. Chiyoya was completely confused. When the hatred in her heart disappeared, she realized that there was no reason for her to continue living. She lifted her head to look at the incomparably tall Qin Feng standing under the floor-to-ceiling window. Chiyoya suddenly pulled out the scimitar at her waist. However, she did not stab Qin Feng's back. Instead, she slashed at her neck. Clang! The scimitar fell to the ground. Qin Feng turned around and sighed. "Do you really want to die that badly?" Chiyoya's body went limp, and she fell to the ground weakly. The previously cold and arrogant Japan's #1 ninja was now in dire straits. She realized that she did not even have the ability to kill herself in front of Qin Feng. She even tried to kill Qin Feng. "I've failed my mission. According to Japan's ninja system, I have to kill myself." Chiyoya said expressionlessly. She was like a soulless puppet. Qin Feng poured a glass of red wine and handed it to Chiyoya. He said to her puzzled expression, "Your life is your own. How can you let others decide whether you live or die? If you still want to live in this world, you don't have to kill yourself. If you really want to die, I won't stop you anymore." Chiyoya's expression became complicated. Of course, she did not want to die. However, there was no direction for her to live. Qin Feng saw the struggle on her face. He continued, "Miss Chiyoya, why don't you join the Huaxia organization? Follow me from now on. I promise you'll live a new life." Chiyoya suddenly raised her head and looked at Qin Feng. Her beautiful eyes hid a trace of anticipation. She joined the Japan ninja base at the age of 5 and experienced a cruel life that normal people could not imagine. While others spent their childhood in laughter and happiness, Chiyoya was training arduously in a secret base that never saw the light of day. How cruel and intense the training of a ninja is. She was the only one left from the same batch of ninja students. They killed each other and survived by stepping on the corpses of others. They have no relatives, no friends, no feelings, and no normal life. Chiyoya was now 25 years old. She was at the prime of her life, but she had never been in a relationship before. She had never even watched a movie before. This was not the life she wanted from the bottom of her heart. But I can't betray the Japan Ninja organization. Chiyoya's beautiful eyes were filled with struggle. Her voice was as soft as a mosquito. Qin Feng pulled her up from the ground and sat on the sofa. "You don't want to betray the Japan Ninja organization, but they never took you seriously. They were willing to sacrifice your life to complete their mission. Is this kind of organization worth your life?" Chiyoya was stunned. Qin Feng's words pierced straight into her heart. "Of course, you have to choose your own life. I just hope that you can join us. This way, I can make up for the sins that I've done to you." Qin Feng suddenly looked at Chiyoya with a sincere expression in his eyes. The last line of defense in Chiyoya's heart collapsed instantly. She had already become Qin Feng's woman. Now that she saw the man who had committed a sin was willing to make up for it and take the initiative to apologize, Chiyoya's heart, that had been frozen for more than 20 years, suddenly melted. "Mr. Qin Feng, Japan sent me to assassinate you. They even came up with a new plan. They want to completely defeat the Huaxia forces stationed on the island." Chiyoya suddenly looked like a different person. She looked at Qin Feng with an obedient expression. Even Qin Feng was stunned for a moment. Wasn't this woman's face changing too quickly? It even made him suspect that this woman was playing some tricks again. Chiyoya saw through Qin Feng's thoughts. She moved her body and sat next to Qin Feng. She even took the initiative to hold his arm. "Mr. Qin Feng, as a Japanese ninja, I've retained the traditional values of Japanese women. You're my only man, so I'll be obedient to you in the future. I hope you won't let Chiyoya down." Qin Feng's eyes widened. He wondered if he should take in a few more Japanese women when he had the time. Chiyoya's transformation was drastic. She looked like she had completely submitted to Qin Feng. After talking to her and observing her, Qin Feng realized that this woman was not pretending. She was really obedient to him. "Chiyoya, tell me about Japan's new plan." After Qin Feng confirmed that Chiyoya was fine, he immediately asked about the main topic. Chiyoya told him everything she knew. "Mr. Qin Feng, you killed 2 Japanese ninjas in a row and caused a ruckus on the island 3 days ago. You've completely infuriated Master Miyagawa and Tino Kun. They asked me to assassinate you. As long as you're dead, I'll send a signal back and work with them to completely destroy the Huaxia forces here." Qin Feng's eyes flashed coldly. This Tino Kun was really sinister and cunning. Fortunately, he figured out the situation early on. Otherwise, the Huaxia forces stationed here would be finished. The plan can't be that simple, right? They must have made double preparations. What if you fail? Qin Feng continued to ask. Chiyoya's face darkened. She was filled with anger when she thought about how Japan treated her like a chess piece. "Mr. Qin Feng, I don't know what they'll do if I fail. Tino Kun seems to have suspected me. He didn't tell me any other plans." Qin Feng looked deeply into Chiyoya's eyes and analyzed her words. Chiuya leaned into Qin Feng's embrace. Mr. Qin Feng, I know you don't really trust me yet, but I'm telling the truth. I believe time will prove everything. Since I've chosen to submit to you, I won't betray you even if I die. Chiuya snuggled into Qin Feng's embrace like a kitten. Qin Feng did not know what to do. All right, I'll believe you this time. Now, help me do something important. Qin Feng's expression suddenly became serious. Chiuya immediately sat up straight and regained her cool and capable demeanor. Mr. Qin Feng, tell me. I'll definitely do my best. Go back to the island now and tell Tino Kun this. Qin Feng told Chiuya his plan. Chiuya's eyes lit up as she listened. She praised Qin Feng's intelligence and wisdom. At the same time, Chiuya's heart was filled with warmth. It was the warmth of being trusted by someone. Chapter 1272. Chiuya left the hotel alone after learning about Qin Feng's plan. Lu Bingbing, Yin Wushuang, and the Divine Dragon walked into the suite and surrounded Qin Feng. Qin Feng, how was it? Is that woman reliable? Divine Dragon asked. I told her the plan. She'll lure Japan to attack us, and then we'll capture them all. Qin Feng said. Divine Dragon looked serious, but he didn't say anything else. Yin Wushuang said anxiously, You've only met her for less than 2 hours, and you've already told her the plan? What if she betrays us? Lu Bingbing was also on guard as she said, Wushuang's right. We can't completely trust that woman. She's Japan's #1 heavenly ninja, and she's been training in Japan's ninja base since she was young. How could she betray Japan so easily? The three of them didn't think Chiuya would win because they didn't know what happened between Chiuya and Qin Feng. Since Qin Feng chose to trust Chiuya, he wouldn't change his mind. Don't worry, guys. Chiuya will be fine. She'll always be on our side. Yin Wushuang and the other two looked at Qin Feng strangely when he said that. Qin Feng got goosebumps. Qin Feng, you didn't make it real, did you? Divine Dragon rolled his eyes and asked. Yin Wushuang put her hands on her hips while Lu Bingbing crossed her arms. Both of them stared at Qin Feng coldly. What do you mean? I don't understand what you're talking about. Well, I'll go to bed if there's nothing else. I'm not feeling well recently. Qin Feng quickly changed the topic and was ready to escape. Divine Dragon didn't let him go. He blocked his way and asked, You didn't fight for the past 3 days. Why aren't you feeling well? How do you know I didn't fight? I couldn't sleep every night because of the intense fights with Bingbing and Wushuang. You can ask them if you don't believe me. Qin Feng ran into the master bedroom after he said that, leaving Divine Dragon dumbfounded. He suddenly looked at the two women. Lu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang were so embarrassed that they wanted to hide in a hole. Why did Qin Feng say everything? Senior Divine Dragon, we're tired too. Do you want to? Yin Wushuang pretended and said. No matter how stupid the dragon god was, he still understood. He cursed Qin Feng in his heart and turned to leave. Chiuya had already returned to the shore of the island. In order to appear more realistic, she made a deep cut on her arm. Who is it? This is the forbidden area of the island. Leave quickly, or we will open fire. The soldiers guarding the coast began to shout into the microphone. Chiuya hurriedly shouted, I miss Chiuya, the Japanese shinobi. The soldiers on the other side were stunned. One of the officers immediately drove a yacht over. Miss Chiuya, it's really you. What happened to you? Chiuya covered her injured arm and jumped onto the yacht from a makeshift wooden plank. Hurry up and sail back to the base. I just killed Qin Feng from China. Their people will be here soon. Chiuya's words shocked the officer. In the past week, Qin Feng's name had spread across the island like a saint. This expert hired by China was too powerful. He had killed 2 Japanese shinobi by himself. 3 days ago, he even forced Tono Kuin into hiding. In the end, he had to use a warship to force him to leave. Now, all the Japanese soldiers and ninjas were on tenterhooks. They were afraid that Qin Feng would suddenly attack again. Who would have thought that Miss Chiuya would kill him? Miss Chiuya, are you joking? You killed Qin Feng from China? The officer looked incredulous. Chiuya glared at him coldly and reprimanded. Are you questioning my words? The officer was so scared that his body trembled. He quickly put on a fawning smile and said, I don't dare, I don't dare. I'll drive the yacht back now. The two of them sat on a yacht and sailed on the vast ocean. There was no one else around them. The officer stole glances at Chiyoya's sexy figure and beautiful face from time to time. Seeing that she seemed to be injured, he wanted to pounce on her a few times. However, when he remembered that she was one of the Japanese shinobi, the officer's thought disappeared. They drove all the way to the shore of the island. The soldiers who were guarding the shore were not aware of Tono-kun's plan. When they saw Miss Chiyoya coming back injured, they were suspicious. Master Miyagawa seemed to have received the news. At this moment, he was standing on the shore with Tono-kun and a few Japanese shinobi. When they saw Chiyoya, their expressions changed. Miss Chiyoya, congratulations on your triumphant return. Tono-kun's face was beaming like a wild chrysanthemum. Since Chiyoya was able to come back alive, it was very likely that she had killed Chinfone. Master Miyagawa, Tono-kun, let's talk in the tent. Chiyoya gave everyone a look. Everyone quickly escorted her into the tent. Master Miyagawa could not hold back his emotions. The moment he entered the tent, he asked, Miss Chiyoya, how did it go? Master Miyagawa, everything went smoothly. I killed Chinfone. As soon as Chiyoya said that, the atmosphere in the tent became silent. Chinfeng's appearance had completely disrupted Japan's plan to seize the island. The Japanese soldiers and ninjas were at their wits' end. It could be said that he was the key to the victory of this battle. Now that Chinfone was dead, the news was too shocking. Miss Chiyoya, where's Chinfeng's head? Tono-kun quickly regained his senses and asked excitedly. The rest of the people looked at Chiyoya. They saw that she did not have anything in her hands, and there was no place to hide Chinfeng's head on her body. I'm sorry, Tono-kun. I was discovered by the guards after I killed Chinfone. I escaped from the top floor of the hotel, and it was a close shave. Chiyoya said solemnly. The few of them calmed down from their excitement. They even stared at Chiyoya with a doubtful look on their faces. Now that Chinfeng's head was nowhere to be seen, no one would believe that Chinfone was dead just based on Chiyoya's words. Miss Chiyoya, you're making it hard for us to believe you. We've already promised to bring back Chinfeng's head. You've failed your mission. Tono-kun had long suspected Chiyoya, so he reprimanded her. Chiyoya's expression did not change. She said calmly, It's true that I didn't bring back Chinfeng's head. I failed the mission that Tono-kun and Master Miyagawa gave me. I'm willing to accept my punishment. However, I can guarantee with my own head that Chinfeng is really dead. There was no head to prove Chinfeng's death. However, Chiyoya's serious expression left everyone at a loss. Master Miyagawa secretly glanced at Tono-kun. Tono-kun continued, Since you said that Chinfeng is dead, why don't you tell us in detail how he died? I followed Tono-kun's instructions and went to the Huaxia base to declare my allegiance to Chinfeng. Then I met him alone in the hotel. Chinfeng is a pervert. I used a honey trap to get rid of his guard against me. When he was in the heat of the moment, I broke his neck and killed him. Chiyoya was not stupid. She did not say that she used poison to kill Chinfeng because there was no antidote for that poison. If she said it, she would give herself away. Tono-kun and Master Miyagawa looked serious. They were analyzing the credibility of Chiyoya's words. Meanwhile, Kuroki and Sanjiro secretly glanced at Chiyoya's arrogant figure. When they heard that Chiyoya used her body to confuse Chinfeng, they were tempted. The tent fell silent. No one spoke. At that moment, a cannon was fired from outside. Then, a soldier ran in to report the situation. What's going on outside? Master Miyagawa's face was cold. The soldier said anxiously, Master Miyagawa, ninja gods. The Huaxia people are here. They said that Chinfeng was killed. They want to massacre our warships and soldiers. The sudden news shocked everyone. Master Miyagawa and Tono-kun did not trust Chiyoya. However, they calmed down now. Good. Lord Miyagawa threw his head back and laughed maniacally, confusing the soldier. The Huaxia warships were coming at them fiercely. How could she say that they fought well? Was there something wrong with her? Tono-kun smiled. He looked at Chiyoya and said, Miss Chiyoya, you did well this time. You completed the mission successfully. I will give you credit in the ninja base. Chiyoya heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that Teiko and Miyagawa believed her. She cupped her fists and said, Chiyoya does not care about credit. I'm satisfied to be able to serve Japan. Now that Huaxia has lost Qin Feng, the rest of the people are in a mess. Now is the best time for them to fight back. Chiyoya added. Teiko and Miyagawa's eyes lit up. They agreed with Chiyoya's suggestion. Miyagawa ordered the soldier, go and tell General Ziting to attack all the warships along the coast. Try to wipe out the Huaxia forces in one go. The soldier did not know what was going on. However, he did not dare to ask. He immediately went to pass the order. The ninjas in the room were eager to try. Now that Qin Feng was dead, they had nothing to worry about. Master Miyagawa, since we are going to attack, let's do something big. Wipe out the Huaxia forces on the other side and take over the territory there. Hirom said excitedly. Thrice Man echoed. The Huaxia warships are no match for us. They will definitely be defeated. The dragon sect is just SOSO. Why don't we attack the opposite base now and wipe out the dragon sect and the soldiers on the other side? Everyone came to a consensus. Tono-kun was also excited. He looked at Master Miyagawa and said, Master, we are waiting for your order. Master Miyagawa was excited, but he quickly calmed down. Tono-kun, since Qin Feng is dead, the dragon sect on the other side is not worth mentioning. You don't have to do anything. It is better for you to guard the island base. Chapter 1273. Miyagawa was indeed a wily old fox. He was extremely cautious in his actions and managed to kill Tyranno-kun in the end. The rest of the godly ninjas agreed as well. As long as Qin Feng was dead, they had nothing to fear. Chiyoya's beautiful eyes flashed with anxiety. She was thinking of finding a chance to pass the message to Qin-kun. After everyone was done with their tasks, they left the camp hastily and went to the shore of the island. More than 20 Japanese warships were launched and sailed towards the center of the sea. Even General Ziting personally commanded this fierce naval battle. Miyagawa looked at the sea with his binoculars and saw more than 10 warships coming from China's base. It seemed like they were preparing for a big battle. This is great. This is great. These Chinese cowards have been guarding the opposite shore for a month. They have never launched a naval battle with such great fanfare. This time, they won't be able to return. Miyagawa was not afraid of China's naval forces. He could not wait for China's warships to attack them so that he could annihilate them all. As Japanese godly ninjas, Tyranno-kun and the rest could clearly see the situation on the sea without the binoculars. They sneered when they saw that China was about to launch a war. This was in line with their secret plan. Master Miyagawa, all of China's warships are deployed. Only Dragon Sect is left on the opposite shore. Let's sneak into the opposite shore and defeat Dragon Sect. Thrice Man said excitedly. Yi Mei-hui and Hirom-kun could not wait any longer. Qin Feng's appearance had pressured the Japanese godly ninjas to the point of suffocation. Now, they could finally go on a killing spree. All right, be careful. Miyagawa and the rest nodded. The 4 Japanese godly ninjas led more than 50 top-notch ninjas toward China's base on the opposite shore. The island was guarded by Lord Miyagawa and Lord Takano. Lord Miyagawa was full of smiles when he saw that the battle had begun. Miss Chiyoya's contribution this time cannot go unnoticed. She actually killed Qin Feng. She has really helped us to eliminate a huge threat. Tyranno-kun no longer doubted Chiyoya. He said with a smile, I suspected her before, but it seems like it was a misunderstanding. Japan will definitely win this battle. Currently, the Sakura country's warships had the upper hand in the battle on the sea. There were also 4 shinobi leading a group of elites to attack the opposite shore. On top of that, there was Taro-kun guarding the island. This battle seemed to be in the bag. Although it had only just begun, Tono-kun and Miyagawa-sama looked as if they had won a great victory. Rumble. But at this moment, a loud sound came from the distant sea surface. The originally calm sea suddenly surged up with huge waves, as if a storm had arrived. Lord, Gong Chuan's expression changed drastically as he exclaimed, "What is that?" Takano Jun's brows furrowed as he gazed towards the center of the sea, only to see waves rising in all directions. The water in the center of the sea seemed to be flowing backwards, forming a huge whirlpool. A gigantic monster rose from the whirlpool, causing Tono-kun to panic. "Oh no, it's a sea monster from China. They actually summoned it again. Last time, when Shinfen led the Black Tortoise to defeat the Sakura country's warships, it left a huge shadow in the hearts of the Sakura country's navy. Because of the Black Tortoise's might, the Sakura country's navy had been deterred from patrolling the sea for the past few days. If it wasn't for Miyazawa-sama's order, the Sakura country's warships wouldn't have set out to sea. In the end, they encountered a sea monster from China as soon as the battle began. Oh no, I've been so focused on Shinfen that I've forgotten about this sea monster. With this monster here, our warships won't be able to withstand its attack." Miyazawa-sama panicked. Tono-kun had already calmed down. He immediately boarded a yacht and said, "Master Miyazawa-sama, please calm down. Bring me to kill that monster." Miyazawa-sama initially wanted to keep Tono-kun on the island, but the situation had changed. He had no choice but to watch Tono-kun leave. At this time, the battle on the sea had already begun. More than 20 Sakura country's warships had surrounded the Huaxia country's warships. "Something's wrong. There's no one on their warships. Sir, the sea monster has appeared again. Let's retreat. We've been tricked. We've been tricked. There's no one on the Huaxia country's warships. They're baiting us and using the sea monster to defeat us." Report to General Zeding. The soldiers on the Sakura country's warships, who seemed to have the upper hand, fell into chaos. The moment the Black Tortoise appeared, it brought with it a strong gust of wind and a roar that could topple a warship. General Zeding was furious when he received the news from the front line. As the Admiral of the Navy, he had a wealth of battle experience. For the past month, he had been suppressing the Huaxia country's warships and forcing them to retreat. He never thought that he would be tricked by the Huaxia country's warships at such a crucial moment. "Retreat. Everyone retreat," General Zeding ordered without hesitation. He had participated in the battle a week ago. At that time, he was badly injured by the Black Tortoise's power. Now that he saw the sea monster again, General Zeding did not even have the courage to fight it. More than 20 warships immediately changed their direction. After a short while, Takano Kuin-san's furious roar came from behind. "Kill them all. You guys deal with the enemy's warships. I'll destroy the sea monster." Seeing that Takano had arrived, the Sakura country soldiers who had lost their morale immediately regained their morale. They turned their ships around and rushed towards the Huaxia country's warships. General Zeding quickly spoke to Takano Kuin-san. "Elder Takano, the enemy's warships do not have any marine soldiers. They're baiting us on purpose. Are we really going to continue attacking?" Takano was shocked. He felt that something was not right. However, there was no time to think about it. He ordered General Zeding, "Since the enemy's warships do not have any marine soldiers, it'll be easier to attack. I want you to finish the battle quickly. Retreat immediately after you sink the enemy's warships." General Zeding had no way out. He had no choice but to command the 20 warships to attack the enemy. The sea was bombarded with cannons. The ferocious attack seemed to be able to blow up the sea. The Black Tortoise had already reached the side of the Sakura country's warships. The many-banded kite soared into the sky like a dragon emerging from the bottom of the sea. It opened its mouth and spat out poisonous bubbles like rain. "Everyone, be careful. Don't spray the poison from the dragon's mouth." General Zeding had seen the power of the Black Tortoise last time. However, the poisonous bubbles were as dense as rain. They were so fast that many soldiers could not dodge in time. Their bodies were corroded by the poisonous bubbles and melted instantly. Everyone was so shocked that they all hid in the cabin. The corrosive power of the many-banded kite's venom was so strong that it slowly corroded the outer shell of the warship. Takano drove the yacht alone and rushed over. He looked at the huge black tortoise in front of him with a solemn expression. "Monster, watch my sword." A roar shook the heavens and the earth. Takano suddenly exerted force on his feet. The yacht stopped moving on the sea. He turned into a black shadow and leaped hundreds of meters into the air. He was level with the many-banded Krite's head. The short sword in his hand slashed down quickly. Sword chi filled the sky. Bang, bang, bang. The sword chi landed on the many-banded Krite's body. The sword chi of Japan's #1 ninja was so strong that it pierced through the hard scales of the many-banded Krite. It pierced through the skin and flesh inside. Blood flowed like a river. The many-banded Krite screamed in pain. Its body had already burrowed back into the sea. The surrounding sea was dyed red. It was extremely dazzling under the sunlight. Roar! The sea turtle was enraged. It raised its head and roared. The tsunami roar soared into the sky, creating waves that were tens of feet high. Takano's expression changed. He quickly retreated to a warship. The waves hit the warship. The huge impact was like a row of trains crashing into it. The warship sank to the bottom of the sea. Boom! Another loud sound came from the waves. Takano flew out like a dragon. He waved the short sword in his hand again and slashed at the sea turtle's shell. Bang! 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 The sea turtle's shell was extremely hard. It blocked Takano's sword chi. The sound of metal clashing could be heard. The sword chi landed on the sea turtle's shell. It was as if it had hit hard steel. Takano lived up to his name as Japan's #1 ninja. He forced the many-banded Krite to not dare to show itself again. The tsunami roar of the black tortoise could not hurt him. Seeing that the black tortoise's attack was suppressed, General Zeding was overjoyed. He quickly ordered the Japanese warships to advance at full speed. He planned to lead the Japanese soldiers to jump onto the Chinese warships and occupy the ships. More than 20 warships sped all the way. Soon, they arrived at the Chinese warships. Many soldiers had already taken out ropes and accurately tied them around the Chinese warships. Then, they climbed up the ropes. Japanese ants. Let us kill to our heart's content today. When the first batch of soldiers boarded the warships, they heard a burst of laughter. A few strong men emerged from each of China's 10 warships. These people had strong auras, and they were the elites of China's 5 Tigers and Dragon sect. Baka, do you think you can resist with just a few of you? Put your hands on your head and squat down. Otherwise, we'll shoot. The Japanese soldiers did not care about these people. All of them loaded their guns and aimed at the 5 Tigers and Dragon sect members. These guns were very threatening in the eyes of ordinary soldiers. But to the 5 Tigers and Dragon sect elites, they were nothing. Suddenly, an angry roar came from one of the warships. The leader of the 5 Tigers, Southeast Tiger Yuan Fu, punched out. His aura was like a ferocious tiger coming down the mountain. There were explosions in the air, and the wind from his fist formed a huge, ferocious tiger. Boom! With a punch, the dozen soldiers who had just boarded the warships fell into the sea. The soldiers who followed behind were shocked and immediately opened fire. The commotion here had completely triggered the battle. The members of the other warships also launched their attacks. In minutes, hundreds of Japanese soldiers were shot down into the sea. Ta-ta-ta. Chapter 1274. This is bad. We've been tricked. Retreat. The armed soldiers were beaten to a pulp. They turned around and ran back to their battleships. The 5 Tigers of China and the elites of Dragon sect were powerful. How could they let these Japanese soldiers go? Fists and swords flashed, and people fell into the sea. General Zeding, we've been tricked. There is no one on the Chinese battleship. There are only some elites from the mysterious organization on board. The officer reported the situation. General Zeding was exasperated. Tono-kun is here. We can't retreat anymore. So what if they are from a mysterious organization? Those people will die too. Fire the cannons and blast the ship. Shoot those bastards into the sea. General Zeding wanted to take over the ship. Now that his plan had failed, he decided to destroy the Chinese battleship. The soldiers who had boarded the Chinese battleship were abandoned. The cannons of the 20 battleships were opened. Cannon fire filled the sky, stirring up huge waves on the sea. Damn it! These Japanese bastards are really daring. They're going to fight to the death. Yuan Fu and the others were enjoying themselves when they suddenly felt the battleship being hit. The cabin shook violently. However, they were not worried. After they calmed down, Yuan Fu sneered. Our mission has been completed. Now it's up to Qin Feng. With him here, none of them can escape. At the mention of Qin Feng, all the martial arts experts from China were in awe. At this moment, 2 balls of fire flashed on the sea. A white silhouette stepped on the flames, holding a red spear. It was as if the third prince of Neza had arrived. What is that? Is there someone in the sky? Fuck, it's Qin Feng from China. He's not dead. Retreat. Retreat now. Qin Feng from China is coming. As soon as Qin Feng appeared, the entire Japanese nation was terrified. The soldiers on the 20 battleships were so scared that they covered their heads and fled. Some even chose to jump into the sea. They might be able to survive. General Zi Teng was also panicking. He ignored Tonokoen's orders and immediately asked the captain to retreat. Tonokoen was fighting the black tortoise on the sea. When he heard the shouts around him, he looked up into the sky. His eyes were filled with panic. Qin Feng was really not dead. Baka, Shioya, how dare you betray my great empire? I'll kill you with my own hands. Tonokoen was so angry that his eyes widened. The long sword in his hand swung down violently. He wished he could cleave the black tortoise into 2 halves. Qin Feng continuously flickered in the sky as he casually brandished the spear of rat halos in his hand. Instantly, a sea of fire rained down from the sky, igniting a large area of the sea. The Japanese battleship turned back, and the soldiers panicked and lost all their fighting spirit. Yuan Fu led the Chinese battleship and chased after them, annihilating many Japanese soldiers. Black Tortoise didn't want to fight Tyrannocoen head-on. He dove into the sea and chased after the escaping Japanese warship. Only Qin Feng and Tyrannocoen were left in the middle of the sea. Qin Feng stood on the whirlwind golden wheel and floated in the air. Tyrannocoen's aura surged under his feet, so he wouldn't sink even if he stepped on the sea. You dare play tricks? The Huaxia people are truly shameless. Lord Takano glared at the sky, his lungs about to explode. There was no joy or sorrow in Qin Feng's eyes. His voice was indifferent. Could it be that you didn't cheat? You can only blame yourself for falling into my trap. Why do you have to come up with all these excuses? This was Qin Feng's plan. He wanted Shoya to go back and lie about his death so that Japan would launch an attack on him. Although the Black Tortoise was powerful, he was the overlord of the sea. Since the Japanese battleships didn't dare to enter the sea, the Black Tortoise couldn't do anything to them. That way, all the Japanese battleships that were stationed on the island would be dispatched. Qin Feng would seize this opportunity to capture them all. You should know that all conspiracies are useless in the face of absolute power. Tyrannocoen gritted his teeth, and his aura surged. Qin Feng had guessed that Miyagawa would leave Tyrannocoen on the island, so he brought the 5 tigers of Huaxia to attack the island. As for the base of Huaxia, with the 9 dragons of Huaxia and the dragon god there, Qin Feng left the Golden Lion King behind to guard the base. Even if the shinobi from Japan were to attack the base, they would be killed in vain. Qin Feng had everything planned out. He was the one who would win this battle. However, he hovered in the air with a serious look on his face. According to the dragon god, Tyrannocoen was Japan's #1 swordsman. He was also Kudo Kitagawa's master. How powerful was this man? Qin Feng had no idea. Cut the crap. Watch my spear. Qin Feng didn't waste any more time. He waved his hand, and the spear of rat halos in his hand dropped down. Dozens of fireballs flew towards Tyrannocoen. Tyrannocoen suddenly sprinted on the sea like a swallow. The fireballs missed and hung on the surface of the sea. They were like lanterns burning on the surface of the sea. Qin Feng's figure flickered and chased after Tyrannocoen. He waved his hand, and the spear of rat halos turned into a golden phoenix. It slashed down with 100-meter-long golden blade. Rumble. The sea was split into two, and the seawater filled up the gap like a waterfall. Tyrannocoon disappeared from the sea, playing with his concealment skills. Roar, roar. In the distance, the black tortoise's roar shook the heavens. The waves it set off overturned the Japanese battleships. Yuan Fu and the others jumped onto the battleships. A fierce battle had just begun. Qin Feng and Tyrannocoon didn't have time to care about the situation there. Qin Feng hovered above the sea and observed the sea with his dark eyes. There was a loud explosion behind him. Tyrannocoon, who had disappeared, was like a dragon emerging from the sea. He leaped behind Qin Feng and swung the short sword in his hand like a gust of wind. The sword was so fast that Qin Feng didn't even have a chance to react. His back exploded, and he was sent flying dozens of meters away. Tyrannocoon didn't hold back. He stepped on the sea and swung the short sword again. Several gusts of wind fell on the sea like bombs. Rumble. The sea kept exploding. Qin Feng stepped on the whirlwind golden wheel and dodged quickly. He couldn't catch his breath after that attack. He couldn't launch a counterattack for a while. Buzz. Suddenly, a strange energy fluctuation came from the sea. 5 black mists appeared out of thin air. The 5 kings of Verdant Sect had activated their golden ghost head talismans. Tyrannocoon stopped chasing Qin Feng and swung his sword at the 5 black mists. Baka, who the hell are you? Break it. As soon as the 5 kings appeared, a strong evil energy swept across the sea. It was Tyrannocoon's first time encountering this kind of thing. His face was very serious. However, when he chopped down with his sword, he discovered that the 2 balls of black fog had been destroyed, and he felt relieved. So it was just a little trick to deceive people. Brat, do you have no more cards up your sleeve? Are you trying to disgust me with this junk? Tyrannocoon swung his sword 3 times, and the 5 kings of Verdant Sect disappeared. Their original strength was only at stage 3 true chi. After refining the golden ghost head talisman, their strength dropped even more. They were barely at stage 2 true chi. However, Tyrannocoon's strength was comparable to a peak stage 4 true chi expert. The golden ghost head talisman lost its effect in front of him. Qin Feng didn't plan to use the talisman to defeat Tyrannocoon. He just wanted to stall him for a while to catch his breath. Qin Feng grabbed a few bottles of healing medicine and swallowed them. The chaotic aura in his body gradually calmed down. He stepped on the golden whirlwind wheel and swung his sword again. Boom! The golden phoenix's power seemed to be able to split the sky and earth. It split the sea in half in an instant. The 100-meter-long sword energy was like a golden dragon swimming on the sea. The powerful sword energy didn't fade away even after a long time. Tyrannocoon didn't dare to take Qin Feng's attack head-on. He flew on the sea and dove into the sea, looking for an opportunity to attack Qin Feng again. Damn it, they're indeed Japanese ninjas. They're like cowards. Qin Feng cursed in his heart. Then, he heard Little Pig's voice. Master, you could buy a Sea Explorer. It can clearly see the situation in the sea. With a thought, Qin Feng found the Sea Explorer in the inventory of the system. This gadget was similar to the night vision device and the thermal sensor. It was a technological product of the same type, but it wasn't expensive and could be bought for 2,000 Supreme Points. Qin Feng had earned a few million Supreme Points after he devoured the Supreme Mecha System and found out the Martial Art Alliance's secret plan. After repaying the 1 million Supreme Points he borrowed from the system, he still had a balance of 1,449,000 Supreme Points. He planned to save up 2 million Supreme Points to open the Immortal Island hidden in the system. The Sea Explorer was like a pair of VR glasses. Qin Feng put on his head and looked at the sea. He could see everything in the sea at a glance. It was as clear as looking at the sky. Qin Feng waved his hand, and a fiery red cannon appeared on his shoulder. The fire cloud cannon was engraved with the image of a dragon. The mouth of the dragon was the cannon. Boom! The cannon moved and aimed at Tyrannocoon, who was hiding at the bottom of the sea. A fiery red cannonball flew into the sea, exploding into huge waves as if a tsunami had occurred. Lord Takano's expression changed dramatically. He was startled by the fire cloud cannonball. He moved like a fish under the sea and quickly swam towards the surface, jumping out of the seabed. Swoosh! As soon as Tyrannocoin's head appeared, 100-meter-long golden saber chi fell and exploded on the surface of the sea. Tyrannocoin was suspended in the air and couldn't change his direction. He was hit by the exploding saber chi and flew into the sea 100 meters away. Qin Feng stepped on the golden whirlwind wheel and arrived at Tyrannocoin's position in the blink of an eye. He looked at the bottom of the sea with the help of the Sea Explorer and confirmed Tyrannocoin's position. Boom! Another fire cloud cannon sank to the bottom of the sea, causing the sea to boil. Tyrannocoin was enraged. He quickly flew out of the sea and slashed his sword in the air, forcing Qin Feng to retreat. The loud noises on the sea did not stop, and the waves were undulating. Tyrannocoin didn't dare to dive into the sea anymore. His martial arts attire was torn, and his hair was wet and stuck to the top of his head. He was in a sorry state. Brat, you forced me to do this. I want you to regret offending Japan and me. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.